True Capitalist Radio. I'm the badass of business and the prognosticator of prognosticators. Give CIA levels of assessments, predicting the future. The future. The future. It's time for True Capitalist Radio. Turn that shit up. It's time for True Capitalist Radio. Turn that shit up. Sparking synapses in the internet underground. Everyone knows who I am. The world is my chessboard and war is the tool of the game. Don't hate me, I'm just a messenger. Say what you want about me, but I speak the truth. The truth, the truth. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. It's time for True Capitalist Radio. Turn that shit up. It's time for True Capitalist Radio. Turn that shit up. Now get ready. True Capitalist Radio starts now. Right now. Fucking punks. Fucking punks. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fucking punks.
What's going on, man? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. This is episode number 737. Episode number 737 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to ask everybody to please spread this show across the internets and spread it around like wildfire. And let everybody you know, let them all know that the True Capitalist Radio broadcast is in effect and in the house. It is February 10th, 2025. Once again, episode 737. And I want to thank you for tuning in with me, all right? So with that being said, I got a rumble rant already from Devious Dave asking, are tulips a good investment? Well, I mean, you know what? I'll be honest with you. We are going off the rails of euphoria. This goes way beyond 1929 euphoria. I'm telling you right now, we are in dangerous territory when it comes to the overspeculation of this market. All right, but I'm going to get into that in just 1 second. Belligerent Brian, I hope this episode doesn't go down like the 737. Dude, all right, let's go ahead and start. Put the PC shot on. Let's start with the markets here. All right. Oh, shit. Get the screen off, engineer. Good God. I'm sorry, the engineer's over here. Get it straight. I'm sorry. I mean, once again, my apologies to the engineer. And Duke Orville hooking it up with 10 subs over there in Rumble. So people are being subbed. How many has he done? Like 30 or 40? Cheers to Duke Orville giving everybody free subs over there at Rumble. All right, I am broadcasted also on multi-different platforms. So you're probably listening to me on Rumble, on YouTube, on Kick, on DLive, Trovo, X or Twitter. So cheers to everybody out there who is listening in. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Episode 737, all right? Now, let's put the PC shot on. Let's take a look at these markets. Now, I have no idea what these people are buying into when it comes to the markets here. That's the European markets. I have no idea what people are buying into. All right, we are at peak maximum corporate profits, in my personal opinion. We are at the level where people are just shitting out cryptocurrency coins, and you've got legitimate market cap going to things like fart coin and that sort of thing. So I have no idea what people are buying into. Everything points to the fact that not only are we going to have a contraction based on the trajectory of our economics without the influence of the administration, but then you add the factor of what the administration is planning on doing when it comes to tariffs and other type of centralized plan, in my personal opinion. That's why I have the graphic on this episode looking a lot like communism, in my opinion. But let's not get into that just a second. Let's go over the markets for a little bit here, and let's talk about what's going on. Now, we've got the Dow Jones Industrial. It is up slightly, but still, close to 0.5%. It is up 0.38%, closing out the Dow at 44,470.41 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. We've got the S&P. It is up 0.67%, closing out the S&P at 6,066.44 for the S&P 500. And the NASDAQ, it is also up almost 1%. It is up 0.98%, closing out the NASDAQ at 19,714.27 points for the NASDAQ composite. Now, gold, folks, I'm telling you, this should be the indicator of what the true state of the economy is, because commodities traders don't mess around. They don't have the luxury to be able to hold on to an equity or hold on to some crypto and hope the damn thing goes up. Once they start seeing any kind of slight doubt in any of the investments in their commodities in that market, they just sell off or they buy. And that's exactly what's happening right now in the gold market. We have topped 3,000 today. Believe it or not, 3,000 we topped today, but the current price for gold is at $2,946 per troy ounce of gold. So that should tell everybody that investors are running scared. They are hedging against the uncertainty because there is a massive amount of uncertainty. All right, let's talk about that uncertainty by looking at the commodities, all right? Now, what you're seeing here is a list of commodities, and as you can see, you're going to look at this section here in the monthly and weekly increases in whatever commodity, because the administration has barely, not even been in this or the White House, I should say, a month. So this is an indicator on what the hell is really going on. Now, as you can see, because of the uncertainty of the Americans' foreign policy, European gas has gone through the roof here, 20.74% on a monthly basis this month alone for European gas, and UK gas, 16.55%. All right, energy seems to be something that's going up, minus crude oil. Take a look at ethanol, 8% up for the month. Propane is up 6.58 for the month. Not very good. And look, when you go back to these gas prices in Europe, this is a year-to-year date here. Look at this, 126%, 124%. Natural gas is up year-to-year, 91.04%. But, of course, crude oil, we're seeing it come down considerably because of a lot of reasons. First of all, we have an administration who seems to be wanting to be very aggressive on oil production, which I'm not against. And at the same time, we have a lack of demand because I believe we're having a global economic shutdown. So you've got a lot of things in play here, in my personal opinion, that are driving down the cost of crude oil itself. And once again, cheers to Duke Orville hooking it up with everybody over there at Rumble with subs. Cheers to Duke Orville, and I hope you're having a good Monday, man. And Devious Dave, USD about to take over the euro. Well, I think it already did. As a matter of fact, you're going ahead of me there. I think I saw the euro $1.10 against the U.S. dollar, but we'll take a look at that in just a second. And I'm reading Rumble rants, by the way. Kits doesn't flip. With Trump wanting to halt production of pennies, how do you think that'll affect copper? Well, I don't think, first of all, pennies now are not even made with real copper. I think they're made with some other play money material. But that's an interesting point. I didn't even want to bring that up on the broadcast because I think the penny should have been gone a long time ago, if you want my opinion. All right, but cheers to Kits Doesn't Flip. Once again, energy seems to be taking a massive spike minus crude oil here. All right, so very interesting thing. Once again, we want to look at the monthly. You see this monthly. Now, excuse me, you take a look at gold. All right, we have seen it go up 9.10% on the month. That is also just almost unheard of, unless there's something that is driving commodities and other investors into gold as a hedge, as a damn hedge. So in my opinion, this is an indicator that as much as the cosmetics and the optics that the Maga and the Trump administration is putting out to the public, the folks that really, kind of understand investing and commodities traders are not seeing the rosy color that's being painted by Trump and his surrogates. But then again, I'm not judging him just yet because he's only been in office barely less than a month. Once again, I said it on the last show, I am cautiously optimistic about Trump and Elon Musk and Doge, but I don't know. It's a pendulum. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Let me get through the markets here. Take a look at silver, folks. Now, I have told people that if you want to get a better return on investment in metals, you could get it in silver. It's a lower investment, all right, and you're going to get a high percentage. In my opinion, it's something to look forward to. Now, I caution people. Now, while you're accumulating gold and silver, I believe it will take a dip once this fucking market recognizes that we're in a recession, possibly depression. They still have not recognized that yet. Once that happens, we're going to see a slight dip in the short term on metals, but then it's going to go through the roof. The same trend happened in 2009, and that's what I've been accumulating. I've been accumulating silver since it was fucking $14, $15. All right, now it's at 32. I think it's going to take once the market recognizes that we're in some kind of a recession, possible depression, that's where we're going to see a dip, and all of a sudden it's going to take a spike. And I mean, remember the last time we saw this spike on silver in 2009, it was almost $60 a troy ounce. Gold has already far surpassed its all-time highs today, and I think it could go higher. So I think everybody should entertain. I've been saying this for the past several shows, going back into last year, that I have most of my portfolio in cash. I've got silver and gold, obviously. I've got properties. I've got, cars. There's other kinds of assets that continue to appreciate in value while most things are beginning to depreciate. So anyway, once again, for the month, gold is up 9.10%. Silver is up 8.06% for the month. And copper, this is what Kits Doesn't Flip asked, is copper going to be affected by the penny prices? Well, no. And the reason I say that copper isn't, I think that we're going to continue to see higher copper prices in the long term because in my view, if we continue to go down this electronic vehicle situation, it's going to explode copper prices. I talked about that when I used to write articles on Ghost.Report that nobody fucking read. I wrote that this commodity here, copper, could be potentially exploding in value. And as you can see, it has been. Look at year to year, 25.54%. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at the chart on copper, and let's take a look at the 5 or 10 year chart on that if we can here. Let's take a look at the, we can only get a month chart. Oh, thanks a lot. Oh, no, here it is. My bad. 10 year chart. As you can see, we're almost hitting these highs that we saw during COVID. If we go 25 years, you take a look at when we started seeing high silver prices was typically when we were going into a recession. And as you can see, look at the date there, January 08, and then it took this tremendous dip during the damn crash. And then once people started recognizing it, this was in February 09. I remember it like it was yesterday. Okay, it was literally 1 month to the next when at least I saw everybody recognize that the damn recession was here. And then from that day on, take a look at that. It just went through the fucking roof. Copper. All right, it's just copper. And this is a copper chart. Same thing can be applied with the other metals that I just mentioned, silver and gold. But as I stated, the reason that we're seeing such high copper prices is not only is it an industrial good, all right, or a component in industrial goods, it's also major when it comes to development of electronic vehicles. I mean, it takes, 75 pounds of silver to create a little shitty electronic vehicle. All right, to get these trucks that they want on the road and these buses and shit, it takes like hundreds of pounds. All right, I mean, it could take half a ton in some cases, depending on how big the vehicle is, of copper alone. So copper, in my view, is something that people should keep an eye on because unless we're going to start curbing our direction into electronic vehicles, I see this continuing along these prices. And Kits does a flip. I forgot pennies are mostly zinc now. Granted, between nuclear winters and my garage becoming a literal shithole, I haven't been scrapping much. All right? Now, somebody's asking, should you save your pennies? Yes. And you need to find out the penny that the last year they stopped making pennies in true copper. Because they're made from like some zinc. Have you ever felt a modern penny? It legitimately feels like toy money. But if you could go back, probably, I don't know, maybe 2000, maybe pre-2000, maybe a little bit before that, where you can actually have copper in the damn pennies and they weren't zinc. I think that's what you should be looking towards. Because I think aside from, and this is why I love coins as a commodity, aside from having a coin for its spot value price for the commodity, it's also got an intrinsic value outside of the spot value. It could have been printed on a certain year where pennies were in rarity. It could be struck at a certain mint that is sought after by coin collectors. It could be, there's a bunch of factors that add value to coins. All right, so cheers to everybody out there who is inquiring about that. But let's continue once again. We were talking about copper. All right, copper for the month, 9.11% increase for the month. And you're noticing there's a lot of shit increase in here. A lot of this has to do with tariffs. A lot of this has to do with the economic policies of the administration. You and I have not seen this at the grocery store yet, buying goods, but believe me, here in the next couple of months, you all are going to see it. You all are going to see it. So once again, copper, up 9.11%. Iron ore is up 7.68%. Steel obviously took an increase because one of the big headlines today is that Trump put a 25% tariff on steel. So obviously that's going to go up on a monthly basis. We've got platinum, all right, which is a forgotten metal in my opinion. It is up 6.45% on the month. Look at all this. This should indicate to you that commodities traders are not very rosy on the economy. So I'm just trying to let everybody know here that I know that it looks good optically. I know that the Trump and his surrogates are making it look rosy. That's their job. I don't think it's that great. And as I stated, if you listen to old Ghost here, when I was saying in March of 2022 that everybody should save their U.S. dollars because that's where most of my portfolio was. Everybody thought I was an idiot. All right, that most of my portfolio is in cash because I'm waiting for all this shit to tank. As you've seen in the roller coaster ride of volatility here recently in not just the stock market, but also the crypto market, I mean, this damn thing could go down 5%. I'm talking indices, 5% within one day before you even wake up in the morning. So I like to have my cash on hand so that when this damn thing crashes and everybody's trying to pull out the market and everybody has lost whatever they thought they were on paper, I got the money to be able to buy all these blue chip, high yield dividend stocks, pennies on the dollar. All right. pennies on the dollar. So that's been my strategy. It worked for me in the past 3 or 4 crashes that I've been a part of. And Devious Dave, I sold copper wire in my apartment and went to the casino. Well, you don't want to do that. All right, let's take a look at what really matters, folks. And what really matters is the grocery store prices. And folks, if you have not been feeling this as of late, you're gonna feel it. Take a look at the monthlies right here on this column right here on every commodity. It's almost all green here with the exception of orange juice. And the only reason that orange juice is down 15.90% on the month is because it had exploded during the peak season of orange juice harvesting because most of the harvest was devastated by hurricanes and whatnot. So now it is coming down, but everything else looks pretty green. Cacao, which is the base for chocolate, it is down 11.60%, but that's after going up about 300 or 400% year to year. Was it for the past 2 years because of the Ivory Coast situation? So now that's coming down. Barley is coming down because, in my view, you're going to see the beer industry take a huge hit when it comes to these aluminum tariffs. And the aluminum is not only intricate for beer cans, no pun intended, but it's also intricate to kegs. All right? And it's going to increase. It's going to add on to draft beer. It's going to hit any kind of craft breweries out here that are relying on the frequency of a small amount of customers. It's going to hit these people, in my opinion, and that's why you're seeing barley, which is the base for beer, going down for the month, 13.62%. Whoa. Now, butter is finally coming down, but that's after an increase of 29.68% on the year. Let's go what is going up. Right off the bat, wheat is up 6.15% on the month, and this is the month that Trump has been in power. Lumber is up 9.09%. I'm not too sure if that's going to continue in my view. I think that this is a short term based upon a lot of the reconstruction that is happening based upon natural disasters like the North Carolina situation, the situation in California, those types of things. I think this is a short term deal because of the immigration policy, which has been very aggressive by this administration. I don't think that we're going to have the ability, in my opinion, to build or potentially renovate as easily as we once did. And I doubt that people, given the fact that everything else is going up in price, I doubt that people are going to be very enthusiastic about building that new deck in the back of their fucking house. So anyway, 9.09%, I think that's temporary. Palm oil, which is in almost everything, even so-called sugar-free shit. I strongly advise all you people that are trying to be sugar-free, read if this has palm oil, because palm oil does digest as sugar. Anyway, 2.02% increase for palm oil. Cheese is up 1.56%. Milk, it's up 24.68% year to year. It is up slightly 0.10% on the month. Rubber is up 5.86%. I guess everybody is protecting themselves sexually. And coffee. I mean, coffee has gone through the roof, and I think it's going to continue to go through the roof because of the tariffs. Tariffs. All right? And I think people need to recognize that these tariffs are going to bring the prices that are already going up now even higher. Because most of the, if not all the coffee that we produce, consume, all comes from something else. It all comes from somewhere else. And typically, it's not in this country. So if there's reciprocal tariffs, which is what Trump has announced here recently, although he has been kind of fickle about the tariffs, so we don't know what to believe. A lot of uncertainty in the market, hence why you have so much investment in metals. Anyway, sorry, I'm sorry I'm a little long-winded today when it comes to the markets, but I think people, you need to recognize that danger is ahead. Why everybody's buying into this market right now, especially not just the economic conditions, the policies. The policies, man. Anyway, we've got Trolling the Interwebs said, selling copper wire from rental properties is the best plan. There's no cost of entry. Not funny. We've got Blade of Stelron Hunter. Shout out to the man, Duke Orville, for the membership. And by the way, thanks for the show, Ghost. Cheers. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And once again, cheers to Duke Orville, and cheers to everybody out there who's listening to the broadcast, man. So once again, coffee is up 32.66% on the month. And if you're a coffee drinker, I think it's going to go a lot higher. All right, doesn't matter who we tariff. Anybody we tariff in South America, this is going to go higher. Anybody that we tariff in Africa, believe it or not, Africa's become a very big producer of coffee. It's going to go higher. Any tariff in Asia, all right, with the exception of China, is going to go higher. So coffee right now, I'm bullish on coffee. I think everybody should be investing in it, even if people curve their intake. All right, it's going to cost a lot fucking more. And if you can make a commodity play on this, I think it's entertaining in my view. Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm trying to take a drink here. I'm sorry. I bumped my goddamn drink into the damn microphone. My apologies. Anyway, sorry, I did a fucking almost 10-hour show on Friday night, and I've been yelling like Janet Yellen on this Super Bowl weekend. Great weekend. I'm going to talk about it after I get to the markets here. But anyway, coffee, take a look at that. Cotton right now is very interesting. Cotton is down for the month. It is down 1.45%. It is down in general. I guess I really don't know what's causing that decrease. I really don't invest in cotton. But that's interesting because typically when you get into the cold months, cotton typically goes up whenever I observe the commodity. So very interesting play there. Rice is down, and I think the reason rice is down, in my opinion, is because of the U.S. aid being cut off. U.S. aid being cut off, and the biggest commodity that we would distribute as food to third world countries is rice. So I'm sure this is a reason why this could be potentially going down, in my view. We've got canola oil. Stay away from it, in my view. It's a horrible thing to fry with, but it is up 5.15%. Most fast food joints fry their shit in this, so you need to inquire. Wool is up. That's very interesting. 5.29% increase for the month for wool. Sugar is up 3.66%. Sugar! We've got cacao. We talked about cacao already. Tea is down 9.90%. Very interesting. We've got sunflower oil up 0.39%, and so on and so forth. Now let's get to the real deal. Let's get to what nourishes our body the most, and that's meat. All right, that's meat. Take a look at cattle feeder, the shit they feed the cow. All right, monthly it's down 1.31%. Year to year it is up 7.82%. Live cattle, this thing never goes down, but it went down this week slightly, but it's been going up and up and up. Take a look at the goddamn chart on cattle, please. I have to do this. All right, let's take a look at the fucking 25-year on this. Take a look at this. All-time fucking highs for beef. I'm not joking around, man. I can't even get a decent ribeye steak, all right, from the store. Now, granted, I like organic shit, but $45 fucking dollars for a goddamn ribeye, man. It's not even a thick fucking cut. Excuse my French. I'm much like you, all right? I like to eat shit. And when you start paying more for things like this, it's upsetting. It's upsetting. All right? So anyway, once again, here it is. This is the live cattle. If you're wondering why beef is so expensive, here it is. And Belligerent Brian with a Rumble rant, he said, does coffee play extend to the London Stock Exchange as well? Well, I don't think so. It depends, because it's an American play because of the policy of the administration. All right, it's the tariffs that is going to drive the cost of coffee. So consider that, Brian. And Devious Dave, lard is the best thing to fry with. Actually, it's tallow nowadays, right? It's not just lard, it's tallow. And Kirk Johnson, yeah, thank you. I'm not saying that on the air. Or I'm not saying that on here. Anyway, once again, live cattle, not good. Doesn't look like it's going down. And in my opinion, I think live cattle goes up, not just because of the tariffs. Because remember, what we export is livestock and agriculture. We don't really produce much. I think we produce tech, we produce movies. We don't really produce much in America outside of our commodities. So if we're going to have tariffs, of course, the countries we throw tariffs on are going to reciprocate those tariffs. And those tariffs are going to be applied to food. So what that means is that the farmers right now that expected to sell a certain amount of commodities this year are possibly not going to be able to. And they're going to have a lot of their yield either rot or not being sold. So what does that do? That tells the farmer, well, next year I'm not going to produce that much. Okay? So that's one reason why I think we're going to continue to see increases in food. Second reason, the immigration policy. The immigration policy, whether you agree with it or not, it is going to have an economic impact, and I think it's going to send food even higher. Now, granted, as much as I think, or at least optically it appears, that Trump is being aggressive on immigration, there's questions to believe whether or not it's even real. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. All right. But once again, cattle, all-time highs. All right. Monthly, it's up 2.26%. Lean hog, all right, 5.44% increase because people are probably going to the lunch meats. You know, people are probably going for the cheaper meats, man. It's the way it is. Beef is up 0.28%. Poultry is down 2.48%, but that's after being up year to year 9.99%. Now look at fucking eggs. Look at fucking eggs. All right, and this is at the fucking commodity wholesale end, 709. All right? We're at all-time highs for eggs. Now, a big contributing factor to this is the supposed fear of bird flu or H1N1, but I just don't know if I believe it. I just don't believe this shit. And one of the things that I'm hopefully optimistic about is that if RFK Jr. is confirmed in the administration, he gets down to this bullshit or changes the policy or something. Because, look, if we're going to buy that it's H1N1 that's causing the rise in egg prices, then, then we have to figure out why it's happening. Why is it happening on a mass scale? And it's happening on a mass scale because of industrial farming. All right, there's people or entities, I should say, that control most of the distribution of eggs across the country. So if one of these farms catches, it could be any kind of bird flu, it kind of spreads pretty fast amongst the flock because industrial farms have these damn chickens in very close contact with each other, so on and so forth. So I have to hand it to Canada over here. All right. Canada's prices of eggs have not gone up. All right. And the reason somebody wrote Tyson in there. I'm sorry. The reason Canada has not gone up in price when it comes to its eggs is because they have an emphasis on buying local farms. All right. When it comes to their eggs and poultry. So most of the supermarkets in Canada actually purposely go towards the smaller farms when it comes to these egg and chicken consumption. So that's something we could probably take from Canada. Not much, but possibly. All right. I don't know. Trump wants to gank Canada. I wants to take it and put it as a 51st state. I don't know what that's about, but we'll see. And trolling the interwebs, I go to chicken farms and stomp the eggs, raise the value on my future contracts. Yeah, that's great. Well, if you bought contracts, take a look at that. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. And this happened. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at when it happened. It happened this month. Well, year to year, it's up 200%. But you take a look at this month alone, it is up 22.03% eggs. All right. And you take a look at the week. All right. It is up 8.24%. So, man, eggs is one of the most nutritious things that you can eat, believe it or not. And don't believe the hype that, it's high cholesterol. It's bullshit. It is one of the most healthiest things that you can eat, that you can get. And it used to be really cheap. Now it ain't. Does anybody find it ironic or a coincidence that all the things that make our bodies run well at full capacity, the most nutritious foods, are all going up in value? Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Anyway, let's transition, no pun intended, and let's briefly go over the wacky crypto markets, all right? Now, put the PC shot on. Now, folks, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This whole cryptocurrency bit, I have no idea what the hell's going on here. I mean, it has turned people into absolute idiots. I mean, they're investing in things like fart coin. I mean, look at these coins here. All right, look at these coins. All right, Fartnoy. All right, penny coin. All right, United States of America coin. All right, look at these fucking coins, man. All right, and these are fucking hot right now. They're being traded. Look at it. This is stupid. Fat girl coin. Look at this. Fat girl coin. Look at this fucking pump and dump. Fat girl coin. This is what we're fucking dealing with in the damn crypto market, and you expect me to believe that this is going to be a legitimate market for the goddamn long term? And people are saying, why don't you do your crypto? I didn't want to do that, dude. Look, as much as these fucking trolls troll about, oh yeah, you're a scammer or whatever the fuck, I don't fucking want, I never wanted to do this. All right, I never wanted to do this because, I mean, I always want to make people have at least a decent outlook towards old Ghost. I don't ever want anybody to believe that, oh gosh, you get me out of fucking $50,000 on this pump and dump. And I mean, come on, man. Because if you do that, the short-term financial gain that you get from that, the long-term, like bad, not just karma, but the bad outlook, the bad optics that people are going to have on you. And I straight up didn't want to do that. I straight up didn't want to do that. Anyway, yeah, real funny, Kirk. All right. Anyway, once again, this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at. All right. This is where we're at. I mean, Link coin, waste worm coin, fart baby coin. Take a look at this pump and dump. Fart baby coin. So let me tell you, I think Trump ruined crypto for everybody. All right, he put out that Trump coin. Oh yeah, by the way, how much is that fucking going for? All right, how much is Trump coin going for? Let's take a look at this. Here, let's take a look at the max on that. All right, put the PC shot on. Look at this. He fucked it up for everybody. All right, if you're thinking, dude, he literally did this the day before he was inaugurated. All right, the day before he was inaugurated, and ganked like 50 or 60 billion dollars in market capitalization from all of you people that bought this bullshit. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. I mean, the market cap at this peak was like 65 or 70 billion dollars in market capitalization. All right. And of course, somebody with the wallets that started this coin, we can only speculate who that is, possibly the person that this coin is named after, dumped this shit, and they literally just yanked billions and billions of dollars from all you little idiots. And they didn't make anything. They didn't produce anything. They didn't provide any service. You idiots just threw your money at this shit. And as a result, billions of dollars right into the pockets of Trump. And that's after all the bullshit he was shilling throughout the 2024 campaign. Trump Bibles, Trump guitar, Trump watches, Trump NFT, whatever happened to that shit. I mean, give me a break. So look, for all you crypto tards out there that are optimistic, that think that, oh yeah, man, Bitcoin's gonna go to $1 million. It's not, all right? It's fucking not. It's not. All right? If anything, as I was just stating at the beginning of this broadcast, all right, if people are desperate and can't pay for their fucking food, they can't pay for their necessities, what makes you think that they're going to sit around and keep their stupid, shitty crypto, digital what, when people are starving? This crypto market is going to have a harsh reality when this fucking market in general, when the American people and the world, because it's not just going to be an American depression, it's going to be a worldwide depression. And if you don't believe me, mark my fucking words. I said this was going to happen right after the election. I said this was going to happen. I'm prepared for it. I'm not too sure if you people are prepared for it, all right? So anyway, let's just move on here, all right? Let's move on And let's go ahead and get into the crux of the broadcast, all right? Now, the thing I want to lead in with is I want to lead in with this one here. Put the PC shot on. Trump, the first president to make an appearance at a Super Bowl. Now, of course, I think that was, good PR. That's one thing Trump is good at. He knows how to work the camera. He knows good PR. And, of course, the NFL was a lot more patriotic this Super Bowl, ironically. They made a lot of different attempts at trying to show that they're still kind of woke, but kind of not. And moreover, I heard that Trump left the game early because he's actually a pretty big Kansas City Chiefs fan. And Trump attended because I guess he has a bromance with like Patrick Mahomes and the family or something. But he left in the fourth quarter because it was an absolute demolishing. And speaking of the game, by God, I mean, the Eagles made the Chiefs look like absolute chumps. I could not believe it. I mean, it was an exciting Super Bowl regardless because I wanted to see the Chiefs beat. I mean, it's enough. All right? It was great to see Taylor Swift put her head on that Megatron and everybody, boo! And she's like, what's going on? I don't get it. And I think that ruined Kelsey's chances at potentially a long-term relationship with old Swifty. All right? She didn't like that. She's used to everybody loving her. And there was a rumor that Travis Kelce, was going to propose to Swift if they had won the Super Bowl. That was kiboshed very, very fast. All right? But once again, Trump, first sitting president at the Super Bowl, left because his Chiefs were losing. And by the way, did you hear about this? He canceled the Eagles to visit the White House after the Super Bowl. He is so pissed that the Chiefs lost that he has canceled the Eagles from inviting to the White House. I can't believe this. I can't believe it. And by the way, Kits does a flip. Did you hear the people, at least in Philly, despite their hometown winning, still, yeah, I know. That's what Philly does, all right? That's what Philly does. And by the way, let's go ahead and take a look at what Kits Does a Flip has in store for us here, because it's probably some very interesting visuals here. Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, let's take a look at some of the mayhem that happened in Philly, even though their team won the Super Bowl. All right, play it. Here it is. Oh, my God. Look at this crap. Look at this crap in Philly. Why do you idiots in Philly do this shit? You won! You won! Oh, God. And somebody, Kirk Johnson noticed the demographic. What the hell does that mean? Holy shit! No wonder oh my God. Oh, Jesus. They greased the poles in New Orleans. I'm not joking. They have antique poles all down the French Quarter. They greased them up so that they could prevent shit like this. Can you believe that? Because there were 10-1 Philly fans that attended the Super Bowl, believe it or not. They had to grease up a pole. I'm not trying to be perverted. They greased up the fucking pole. All right. Anyway, thank you very much. Kits Does a Flip, but good God, man. Good God. All right, let's go ahead and go to Ghost Report so everybody can follow along here. And let's talk about the past several days since we've last talked to each other. And let's go to the February 7th. Now, I did not do a February 8th Ghost Report daily because I did a 10-hour late-night ghost show with movie night, by the way, and I was just completely exhausted. All right, so I skipped that day, but every other day thereafter is there. All right.
Buy that for $1.
And Mark does a buy me a coffee. LOL. Tom Brady is forever the GOAT. Evil Patriots Empire. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you this. Mahomes last night looked like he looked bad. I mean, his whole facial features look different now after that loss. So yeah, I don't know if the the dynasty continues. I mean, they don't really have many players. I mean, if they couldn't get it done with the players that they have now, and given the fact that they're, spending so much on the salary cap with Mahomes and Kelsey and all these other players, I don't know. That may be it. That may have been the last time. Who knows? But let's see. All right, we got to wait till next season, which we got to wait till fucking next September, for Christ's sake. Anyway, thank you, Mark. Cheers to you, man. All right, February 7th. Now, this is where we find out that Doge, all right, the group of teenagers that Musk has auditing and hacking the government here, the reason he's so, everybody's asking, how does he get it done so fast? How is he able to go through all the books and able to find all this? He's throwing it in an AI program, all right? Musk feeding U.S. sensitive data to AI? I mean, take a look at this. I mean, the report states that Musk led Doge feeding sensitive data into AI amidst cost-cutting efforts. Now, I know some of you on face value will say, well, Ghost, I mean, he's making the job easier. It's making the job easier, making it go faster. That's how we're able to find all this waste. While I do agree with that on face value, this is very dangerous, okay? And the reason is because feeding all of our personal data into AI on top of whatever corporates have on us, like the psychographic and demographic data that they have on us from our social media, from the cookies, from the websites, and all that bullshit, it now can put an actual identity to this psycho and demographic data. And what I mean by that is everything that corporate America, or I should say big tech, has aggregated about you, they now are going to even know more about you. They're going to know even more about you. And what is this? Kamala Harris eyed part Taylor Swift's ass cheeks, and oh god, dude, give me a break. Fuck whoever donated that shit. Jesus Christ, I'm sitting over here trying to talk serious about this fucking Lex Luthor autistic fuck over here potentially feeding all of our personal data into some AI, and where is this going to be stored? All right, where is this data being sent? Many people have speculated that he is actually sending much of this data to fucking China. Now, that's speculation, of course. I can't validate that because as much as Elon Musk is trying to say that he wants transparency in government, we don't know what he's doing. We don't know what he's doing. All we do know is that he is aggregating our data and feeding it into AI. And in my opinion, AI is going to become a god. All right? I mean, that's why I have this graphic right here. All right? Here, AI, make me God. I've got all the information on everybody. Every intimate detail. All right? I mean, when Elon Musk feeds this data, he probably has your medical records. He's got our bank accounts. He's got access to Social Security. I mean, you name it. And he feeds all this data into AI, and AI knows who you are, knows everything about you. Everything. I mean, that should be a cause for concern. But of course, I mean, the optics of Maga and their surrogates, have kind of put a smokescreen to the actual danger of this. Now, unfortunately, I have to say that a lot of things that Musk has found puts a little bit of legitimacy into his questionable legal activity when it comes to aggregating this data. I mean, just the U.S. aid alone, all right, kind of gives fervor to, let Elon Musk continue. Because, look, there's a lot of bad fucking spending, and it's disgusting what they're finding. And you see, this is a crisis here. This is a constitutional crisis because we've got Elon Musk and Donald Trump kind of, going against our current government structure, going against the Constitution because, first of all, nobody elected Elon Musk. I know that Trump has assigned him as a, quote, special government employee, but there is no definition to that. Okay? There's no definition to that. And this guy now has access to every single goddamn agency out here. And he's aggregating this data and putting it into AI. I think everybody should be concerned, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, a federal judge did block Doge from the Treasury Department and other federal employee data. All right, and that was on February 7th. I mean, we have since evolved from February 7th, but this is what happened. So they are trying to fight in the courts about this. And to be honest with you, now the argument is being made by Maga. And I hate to jump ahead of myself, but you've got J.D. Vance suggesting whether or not judges have the authority to be able to make any kind of ruling against the president. I'm not joking around there. Put the PC shot on. Take a look at this. Outrage after J.D. Vance claims judges are not allowed to check the executive power. Now, you see, this is a very, very dangerous turn we're taking here. All right? If there is no checks and balances, then the country becomes a dictatorship. It becomes a central planned economy, which is what I believe is happening right now. All right? I think that is happening right now. The fact that you've got the vice president trying to suggest that the president has every right to do what he wants outside of the checks and balances system of our country, I think that's a little dangerous. Now, once again, there's a flip side to that coin. What they're finding in these audits is just disgusting. All right, now I agree. What they're finding is absolutely disgusting. All right, take a look at this. Put the PC shot on. Look at this. The Dems are crying it, right? Look at this. Constitutional crisis. Who is Musk's Doge army gutting agencies as courts question legality? The problem with this debate is that the Democrats are caught with their fucking hand in the cookie jar. They have been creating loopholes like USAID and other bureaucratic system to stuff their fucking coffers and to go out and pay for these DEI and all these other weird fucking ideas that they tried to spread, not only here in this country, but allegedly in other countries as well. So I don't think the Democrats have much to stand on here. All right, whether there's a legality question when, with all due respect, what's being unearthed is that you people have been fucking robbing the taxpayer blind. And that's the smokescreen that Elon Musk has over his questionable legality of what he's doing and him feeding our data into an AI system. All right? And with that being said, here, let me ban some people. Hey, you know what? You got a Duke Orville sub. You're an asshole. Get him out of here. Get out of here. Anyway, sorry about that. You know, that's a bad part about buying subs. You know, you got idiots that don't deserve it, for heaven's sake. Anyway, as I was stating, what has been uncovered by Doge and Elon Musk is really the smokescreen around whether what he's doing is legal or not. And this is the constitutional crisis. I do agree with that, but I think the Democrats have a lot of audacity, all right, of trying to cry foul when they were the ones being exposed about stuffing their fucking pockets with taxpayer money. Now, with that being said, Doge, we talked about, are a bunch of young brats. One of them had to resign because they found some racist post, but guess what? They rehired this prick. Doge geek with Treasury Payment System access now quits amidst racist tweet claims. He comes back and he gets rehired. And on top of which, another one of his Doge agents is a 19-year-old who calls himself, quote, Big Balls. All right, have you met Big Balls? Here's Big Balls for you. This is the guy, one of the guys that are aggregating your data, your social security number, your bank accounts. You know, this is the guy right here. This is Big Balls. All right? Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. I'm not joking. Nobody knows Big Balls. You see, you got to go to Ghost.Report. All these people that didn't know, well, who the hell's Big Ball? This is the guy aggregating your fucking data. What are you talking about? This is the guy fucking Elon Musk hired. And the reason he's purposely going after 18 to 24-year-olds is because they're most susceptible to doing whatever without ever thinking about the consequences. So once again, this is Big Balls, part of the Doge crew, whatever. I don't know, man. I don't like this, okay? Now, I do agree. I'm not negating the fact that Doge is finding a lot of fucked up fucking shit in the U.S. aid. They're finding that illegal immigrants are collecting Social Security. They're finding a lot of crap. But, I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, do we have a constitution anymore? You know, I mean, do we have a fucking constitution? Anyway, with that being said, red states are now starting to go Doge, which I think is a pretty good idea. We don't need an outsider doing this. All right, we don't need somebody that is a billionaire that has a vested interest on cutting the government of quote, fat and pork barrel spending, only to put a lot of it in his pocket. All right, and Kits does a flip, but we've got the biggest balls of them all. He's making reference to an AC/DC song there. But I do believe that everybody should be cutting. I am not against the cutting. I have been advocating cutting government for fucking years, for almost 20 years doing this broadcast. You know, but once again, there's a consequence to this cutting. There's a consequence to this style of cutting. And as I stated, what's going on here, in my opinion, looks a lot like communism. All right? I mean, take a look at this. We're already headed into bad news. U.S. jobs added just 143,000 in January. Unemployment rate fell to 4%. So I think people need to recognize that we're headed into bad times, whether there was tariffs or not. But the tariffs and all the other economic policies are literally going to fucking send us into a nosedive, into a depression. And if you don't believe me, well, just wait, all right? Now, as we go into February 9th, we got to take a look at all the lawsuits against Trump. All right, there's a whole bunch of them. The judicial system becomes the front lines against what Trump is doing. All right, now I don't know how successful they're going to be when it comes to all these lawsuits here. But there's a whole bunch of them here. As you can see, a lot of them against Doge, a lot of them against the grant freeze, some against the FBI firing the January 6 investigators. I mean, so he's got a lot of shit, which is what I suggested a few shows back, that I think that Trump is kind of throwing the kitchen sink and seeing what sticks, because he knows that a lot of this shit is not going to stick in court. All right? So that's really the strategy of Trump at this point, and seeing whether or not he can get away with it without necessarily being in opposition. So with that being said, a lot of lawsuits against Trump. All right? Is there any buyer's remorse against MAGA? I mean, we're starting to see that MAGA, depending on why you voted for Trump, are starting to be a little disappointed on what the hell is happening with the country. All right? They don't like all this chaos. They don't like all this uncertainty. But I tried to tell everybody in 2024's election that this is exactly what was going to happen. I mean, just what Trump was touting alone should have said, well, wait a minute, if we raise tariffs, that means that the inflated prices, which is what Trump campaigned against. Remember, he was saying that it was Biden that caused these dramatic increases in all the commodities. Now he's saying that inflation, quote, is not a big deal anymore. It's not that important. And the reason he can't focus on bringing prices down is because his economic policy is not conducive to bringing prices of anything down. So a lot of people are a little concerned about the chaotic situation that Trump is bringing onto the country. So a lot of folks are like, hey, I didn't vote for that. As a matter of fact, a lot of his former surrogates now are starting to talk against. There's a bunch of moves that they're against. All right. They're certainly not for a lot of these MAGA-tards that were a part of the chattering class grifting in 2024. They're certainly not for this massive chaotic situation. They are not for the increase in inflation, increase in prices. They're not for these massive layoffs. I mean, remember, aside from him, causing chaos, all right, he is firing massive amounts of federal employees, which I'm not against. I am not against federal employees being fired. The problem is that on top of the unemployment, which is climbing, we talked about on several shows how many people in the private sector are firing people. They're closing down, lots of jobs being lost at every fucking sector. And then you add, I don't know how many millions of federal employees that are going to be out in the street. I mean, that's going to increase an economic situation that is already headed for disaster. Okay? And I'm telling you, what it looks like to me, it looks like the headline that I posted, or I should say the graphic that I posted for this show. It looks a lot like communism. This looks a lot like what Mao Zedong did during the Great Leap Forward. Now, for you people that are not aware of the Great Leap Forward, it's when Mao Zedong decided to centrally plan the economy and take China away from the agrarian society that it was pre-Mao and force it into industrialization. Now, unfortunately, what happened and what ensued during the Great Leap Forward is that 20 million people died because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, because they were farmers forced to mill steel, and the farmers that were there to grow food for everybody and shit were no longer there to grow food for everybody. All right? So they were out there making steel, and fucking 15, 20 million, we don't know the fucking estimates, starved to death. All right? They starved to death. That was the Great Leap Forward. Now, communists will justify Mao's Great Leap Forward by saying that, you know what, those 20 million people, we needed to kill them. They needed to die. They weren't a contribution into the collective to force China out of the agrarian existence into the modern industrial state. And you see, that's exactly what it looks like here, in my opinion, because it looks like Trump is trying to centrally plan the economy to crash. And if the economy crashes, folks, there's not going to be jobs available, all right, that are going to suffice the amount of people that are out of work. And as I stated, the only jobs that are going to be available are those that are vacated by the Mexicans that are out there in the fucking fields. So we're doing a great leap backwards as opposed to a great leap forward here. And my speculation is the only reason that he wants to take a great step backwards is to make the conditions so bad in America that we become dependent on this administration or his surrogates. It's similar to what Obama did to America in 08, 09, just differently.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, hold on. We got Froppy here who donated to buy me a coffee. And he said, don't worry, Ghost. Mark Vaughn said Trump will give America the best economy ever. Just trust the process and don't ask questions. Well, I would like for somebody to explain how this is going to happen. You know, people are just going in blind. I've been around a long time. All right, tariffs are going to increase the cost of everything. Watch, electronics are going to go up at least 20% within the next month or two. Minimum 20% because of the tariffs on China. And China brought tariffs on us. Same thing is going to happen when we have these reciprocal tariffs. Now, I don't know whether Trump is serious or not. I thought he was serious on doing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and he has since lifted them, which, you know, suggests to me that I don't know if he's serious or not. So, this is where we're at this point in time. And what's Musk's end game amidst all this here? What's his end game? His end game is to digitize everything and him being in control. That's really what it's about. This guy has Lex Luthor ambitions on controlling the world. Not only controlling the world, controlling how you think. And Kamala Harris, I'd let Taylor... Look, don't donate if you're going to be donating shit like that, please, all right? This is a serious show. So, look, I don't really trust Elon Musk. This guy, he's trying to get a piece of everything. He's trying to get a piece of everything. Did you hear today that he tried to make a move on ChatGPT, for Christ's sake? What the hell? Put the PC shot on. Musk-led group makes a $97.4 billion bid for OpenAI. Are you fucking serious? I mean, why? You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you why. ChatGPT and the creation, it was a nonprofit. Then, of course, Sam Altman somehow finagled it to become a for-profit, and then him being at the helm. But the reason is because he doesn't want any competition. He doesn't want any competition to what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't want anybody to skew his path of absolute world domination. And you know what Sam Altman told him, the guy who's in charge of OpenAI? He said, absolutely not, but he's willing to buy Twitter from Musk for $9.74 billion. And we all know that Musk paid $44 billion for X or Twitter. So that was actually an insult by Sam Altman. And dare I say, I mean, when we have to fucking rely on Sam Altman, that fucking soulless piece of fucking shit, to offset the power of Elon Musk, I mean, we're in fucking trouble. All right, we're in fucking trouble, dude. So anyway, that's, you know, Elon Musk, even though he's supposedly Mr. Patriot, even though he's not an American, and he's cutting federal funding when a lot of his income comes from federal funding and grants and shit like that. I mean, what the fuck's going on? And that's why it says here, it's a coup d'etat, don't you think? All right, while Trump blathers about tariffs and Gaza, Musk is executing a coup d'etat. Now, look, what makes this so difficult is the fact that even though Musk has nefarious, in my opinion, nefarious ambitions when doing this, all right, what he's putting out offsets whatever his ambitions are. All this U.S. aid going to all this dumb shit, man. And I mean, it's good. Did you hear U.S. aid went into the pockets of Bill and Hillary Clinton, went into the pockets of Chelsea Clinton, went into the pockets of all kinds of fucking people, like personal pockets of these people. And, you know, that's kind of hard, you know, to talk against.
That for $1.
Look, whoever the hell is donating as Kamala Harris and saying all this weirdo scat crap, all right, can you piss off, please? You're fucking pissing me off. Jesus Christ. But anyway, look, we're in a weird situation in our country, and I think everybody needs to pay more attention, all right, to what this administration is doing. Because if we don't, much like I've said in every election, this is a country made for the people and by the people. But if the people fall asleep at the wheel, then anything can happen. All right? Now, I am cautiously optimistic because, look, I'm not against the cutting. I'm not. I would just like to question Elon Musk's motives. And to be honest with you, I would face reveal and go and fucking do an interview with him one-on-one if he's willing to do it, because I'd like to know what are you doing? All right, what's your plan? I mean, because what it looks like is that you're trying to control not just this country, but the world. And take a look at this. Elon becoming a global problem. And the reason he's becoming a global problem is because him and his influence are not only affecting the United States election, he's trying to affect every election. He's trying to go over there and affect the German election. He's trying to affect the EU. He's trying to affect the election in South Africa. Now, the South Africa thing I kind of agree with. Those fucking people are nuts. But, I mean, he's becoming a thorn in the side of everybody's government here. And what sucks is that he knows the contradictions of these governments in order for him to put it out in public via his X or Twitter, and then it makes him look like he's the hero. Even though he, in my opinion, has nefarious ambitions. And that's what makes this a very dangerous, in my opinion. All right? I'm not saying that what he isn't doing isn't good on face value. It's the underlying motive on why he is doing this is the reason why I'm suspect. All right? It's a reason why I'm suspect. And if he's willing to come out, and I'm willing to come out, and if he can even explain what he's doing in articulate, in an articulate capacity.
I'd buy that for $1.
Hold on just a second. We got Froppy here. He said, here's the name of every Doge employee. No, don't dox the Doge employees, you fucking tard! Jesus Christ! Anyway, sorry about that, folks, all right? Anyway, are we in a Maga civil war on top of that? Are we in a Maga civil war? Because the only guy that's actually standing up to Elon Musk is a once upon a time confidant of MAGA, Stephen Bannon. And I don't blame Stephen Bannon for being upset and pissed and calling out Elon Musk, and he's calling out Trump. And the reason is because Steve Bannon did fucking prison time for Trump. And Steve Bannon couldn't even get a consultation fucking job. What the fuck?
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, look, whoever the hell this Kamala Harris is, shut your fucking ass, all right? Literally and figuratively, shut your ass. If you're not going to donate something like a question or some shit, then just stop. Just stop it with the scat shit. Jesus Christ. Anyway, as I was stating, all right, Steve Bannon coming out and trying to call out Elon Musk. Unfortunately, I don't think Stephen Bannon has anything to combat Elon Musk's influence. I mean, Musk has got way more money, way more clout. He's been planning this for a long time. You know it, and I know it. And Bannon, he's at the tail end of his life, to be honest with you. He looks like, he may like to knock a few down. I mean, I do too. Don't get me wrong. I like to fucking sip on the sauce, but, I don't understand how Steve Bannon is going to have any kind of impact on Trump or MAGA, but he believes so, and I do kind of agree with what he's saying. I think that Steve Bannon is right on the head on this. If you haven't heard Steve Bannon's criticism of Elon Musk, I think it's very valid. I think it's absolutely valid, and I don't blame him. So I do believe that we have a little bit of a MAGA civil war as far as I'm concerned. All right? But once again, let's continue on. Are Trump's deportation a bunch of shit? All right? Have you heard about this? This is an article here that says how Trump's immigration crackdown blurs the line between reality, rumor, and theater. ICE arrests, including collateral arrests.
I'd buy that for $1.
Dude, listen to me. Stop donating. Whoever the fuck is Kamala Harris, cut the shit. All right? You're a fucking scumbag. You're fucking donating a bunch of fucking sick crap. Cut the crap. Jesus Christ. You see what I have to fucking put up with here? Anyway, trolling the interwebs. Anyone who thinks Donald Trump isn't for CBDC is crazy. Why did they dump the penny then? Well, you got to ask questions like that, trolling. And cheers for the Rumble rant. But once again, as ICE arrests, including collateral arrests, are up, and often in front of cameras, but experts say the data is incomplete and hoaxes are abound. Now, in this article, it suggests that Trump is not making any more deportations than Obama. So even though you've got, what do they call her, cosplay Barbie, Noam, the broad that used to be the South Dakota governor, who's now the Department of Homeland Security head. I mean, have you seen her? I mean, this broad, she's in a cowboy hat on a horse, and, she's got an ice flak jacket on, and, she's just cosplay Barbie. And in my opinion, I'm looking at the numbers too. Arrests are no different than what Obama was doing. So I think these are theater. I think this is all bullshit. Now, don't be wrong. I do believe that he is kicking out some of the bad people, which, I mean, who has a problem with that? But I'm hoping that he realizes that he can't just go into fucking farms and start rounding up people, because he's going to cause a major situation in the price of food and the amount of food distributed. But who knows? I mean, that's the bad part about this administration. As much...
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, God. Dude, I'm going to end this show if you fucking people keep doing this shit. Whoever the hell this fucking Kamala Harris fucking... I'm not reading that shit! Jesus Christ. Anyway, as I was stating before I got rudely interrupted again, all right? I mean, what's reality? I mean, this damn administration was touting transparency, and yet we all don't know what the fuck they're doing. All right, we absolutely have no idea what they're doing. I would like more transparency. I would like to know what the fuck they're doing. We don't know. But according to the numbers, Trump is not arresting any more immigrants than Obama did during his tenure at this point in time. So we'll see. We'll see if these are legit. All right, we'll see if these deportations are legit. Now, with that being said, our Department of Defense Secretary Hegseth.
I'd buy that for $1.
And Froppy, this sucks. Let's talk about video games. Yeah, I'm sure you would, you fucking immature man-child piece of crap. Anyway, aside from that, let's talk about the Department of Defense head, Hegseth. He actually had a webcast talking to many of the higher-ups in the Pentagon, and it was webcast. It was as part of his transparency. I mean, that's what this administration likes to talk about. And he was actually cut off within a few minutes of that webcast, right when he started talking about transparency. I'm not joking around. I am not joking around. And when asked about what happened, the Pentagon said it was a purposeful cutoff, that they purposely cut it off. Now, what this means is that the Trump administration, under Elon Musk's Doge agents, are going to attempt to try to audit the Department of Defense. They're going to try to audit the Department of Defense. Now, do y'all remember the last time there was a pledge to do this? It was on September 10th, 2001. Donald Rumsfeld had a similar conference amongst the higher-ups in the Defense Department and talked about how there was billions of dollars missing and that they needed an audit. The next day, 9/11 happened. So, with that being said, I'm going to go to today's report. Trump is going to send Musk and his Doge agents to the DOD, and Elon suggests that he could be in danger. And I linked this to a tweet that I posted here. Now, this is a very interesting tweet. I did say, I got to admit, Elon's got big balls here. And he tweets, I guess I better maximize my security. Now, listen to this video that he tweeted here.
You have a Pentagon that has billions of dollars that they hide. We don't ask for any accounting of. They never pass an audit in the history of audits. I've often said the only way we're really going to get to the bottom of this is somebody's going to walk out of one of these labs with this information and puts it out on the internet before they commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head 5 times.
Now you see that? Now, the fact that Elon Musk tweeted that, suggests that he knows the danger that he's in. So, I mean, he's kind of just rolling the dice, with what he's doing. And as I stated, there's a war within our government. I've been saying it throughout this whole goddamn year, ever since the beginning of the year with those terrorist acts in New Orleans and Vegas, the fires in California. I mean, the fucking plane and the Black Hawk helicopter colliding. I mean, this is all a war within our government. And I expect a lot more of this to happen. I said this was all going to happen, all right, last year. I said all this was going to happen as Trump got elected. I said, look, expect our goddamn country to be hit. Expect multiple attacks. Expect high inflation. Expect a depression. It was not that fucking difficult to fucking look at the current circumstance and figure that shit out. All right, but I'm cautiously optimistic once again because I live in this country and I certainly don't want it to go to hell. All right, but once again, Trump defends Elon Musk, all right, as terrific in the Super Bowl interview. All right, so he thinks that Elon Musk is doing a good job, even though there's questionable legalities about what they're doing. So we'll see what happens, but I think that Elon Musk knows the danger involved. And I'm going to be very interested in seeing whether or not he has success in auditing the Defense Department. All right, I wonder if he's going to have success. Now, speaking of takeovers and, things of that nature, how many Fed agencies has Doge taken hostage? 15 already. 15 federal agencies Doge has taken control of. Now, of course, the Democrats don't like this, all right? They don't know what to do. All right, they have no idea what to do. They tried to stage some kind of a PR move. Did y'all see this? They tried to go into the Department of Education, and somebody, I don't know if it's somebody that worked for the Department of Education. I don't know if it was one of the lackeys of Doge or what, but this guy refused entry to the Democrats, and these Democrats look like a bunch of idiots. It was a horrible PR move. I don't know if anybody saw this, all right, but I'm not going to play it because it's ridiculous, and it went viral anyway. This guy became a meme, all right, but the Democrats, they don't know what to do. I mean, they're doubling down on this stupid identity politics bullshit, and they're recognizing, or at least I hope they are, that it's not gaining any fucking traction. So what are they planning on doing? They plan on shutting down the government. All right, take a look at this. Amid lawlessness, GOP can't count on Democrat votes when it comes to the budget. And, you know, the Democrats are using this as an opportunity. Right before I got onto this broadcast, Chuck Schumer came out and said, it's going to be Trump shutdown. It's going to be Trump shutdown. It's going to be Trump shutdown is what Schumer said. And Froppy, I predicted internal conflict of governments. It's only a prognostication if you live 6 feet under a rock. Whatever that means. Thank you, Froppy. I appreciate it. But anyway, as I was stating, the Democrats are going to use this potential shutdown as leverage. And that's why Schumer is trying to tout, it's Trump shutdown. It's Trump shutdown. Well, I don't know who you blame in this scenario, all right? Democrats really don't have any room to stand on. Okay, great. They can all vote against it. But guess what? The GOP are fucking it up once again. They're fucking it up once again. Take a look at this. All right? Is Johnson fumbling the budget? Take a look at this budget blueprint not ready for prime time. Now, why? Once again, the Freedom Caucus and all these morons that are just blowhards in Congress, all right, they want to put something in the bill so that they can tout that they were some big fucking patriot and that sort of thing. And Mike Johnson, which I don't know if he's going to be able to fucking manage these morons, he can't get them all to coalesce around one fucking budget, all right? And not only there in the House, they have to make sure that in the Senate that they also oblige whatever budget is passed by the House. So you got infighting already going on in the GOP when it comes to this fucking budget. All right? I mean, give me a break, man. I mean, don't y'all have a unified front? I mean, everybody elected you morons. I mean, figure it out, man. And let me tell you, if there is a government shutdown, that makes the situation that I explained when it comes to the American economy even fucking worse. Oh, my God. We're headed into a shit show here. Do you people understand that? Oh, God. Imagine, all right? We got unemployment, not only in the private sector, mass unemployment in the public sector because of all the layoffs of the feds. All right? You've got people's savings at an all-time low. You got debt, consumer debt at an all-time high. All right, you got tariffs that are going to raise prices of already raised goods and food and all that other shit. And then you're going to add to that this could be a potential shutdown because the fucking goddamn GOP can't figure it out. Give me a break.
I'd buy that for $1.
Dude, whoever this Kamala Harris is, can you please cut the shit, man? All right, cut the shit. You're sick. You're sick. And if it ain't you, it's Froppy. Anyway, once again, we shall see if the GOP and the Freedom Caucus in the House can come together on some kind of a budget. And if it doesn't, I think they take an L on this one because it's not the Democrats that are going to hold them and their feet to the fire on this budget. It's their own party. All right? It's their own party. And I can't believe that amidst all this political capital and success they had in the 2024 election, they can't figure out how to come together on a fucking budget. It's pathetic. It's utterly pathetic. Jesus Christ. Anyway, with that being said, let's do a little bit more Trump news, then we're going to move on to some foreign news here. Trump is dead serious about taking over Canada. All right? Trump said he's dead serious about Canada becoming the 51st state, and that was also reiterated by Fidel Castro's love child, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. Now, not that I'm against this, because I think Canada has always been that little fucking brother, all right, that's in the back of the big brother's shoulder talking shit to everybody, and Canada knows that no one's going to hit them up because they're on our same continent. They know it. All right, they fucking know it. So I don't think it's a bad deal on optical face value, but just imagine the costs. Just imagine the cost of all the fucking shit Canada has done, what they have to do to be integrated to the United States. Their debt will be taken on their fucking debt from the experiment that Justin Trudeau has done in Canada. So there's a lot of red tape, in my opinion. Even if the Canadians wanted this shit, we would be bearing the burden of whatever fucking Canada has. So I think that we need to calm our asses down before we start making commitments like this, in my opinion. All right? And I certainly don't want these Canucks to be a part of my country either. No offense to you Canadian bacon, moose humping pieces of trash out there. But with all due respect, most of you Canadians are jerks. All right? Most of you people in Canada are fucking jerks, and I don't want you affiliated with the American way of life, the American culture, the American personality. Now, granted, I know that American culture right now is the equivalent of, doing drive-by shootings in the ghetto. I mean, just take a look at the fucking Super Bowl halftime show. That'll tell you everything. But I certainly don't want Canadians coming around and fruiting up the damn American culture more than it already is, all right? And most of them people over there are a bunch of welfare recipients anyway, all right? We already got enough deadbeats in America, all right? We already got enough deadbeats. We don't need a bunch of maple leaf up the ass having moose humpers on top of that shit. So anyway, I have mixed feelings about that shit. Mixed feelings.
I'd buy that for $1.
Hold on. Elon Musk? Oh, what the fuck is this? I will take over the world, and the first thing I'll do is hang you upside down like Mussolini, fat man. Get to the anime section of the broadcast, all right? Yeah, there you go. That's great. That's great.
I'd buy that
And Froppy,
for $1.
this show is sponsored by Canadian Air. Yeah, Canada Air. Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm telling you, these people, what they donate, it just amazes me, man. Anyway, let's continue here. Did y'all hear about Tucker Carlson? This is kind of offbeat from what we're talking about before we move into the international news. Tucker Carlson was called out by a Christian Zionist that's very close to the administration, called Tucker Carlson a Jew hater. A Jew hater. All right, so that's very interesting. I think he's more of a Russian ass licker, but I don't know about a Jew hater. All right, I don't understand how he could be a Jew hater with this administration. I mean, did you hear Bibbsy today? He said that Trump and his administration has been the most best friend to Israel it's ever had. So I don't know. I don't know what Tucker Carlson's doing, you know? Anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about international relations, all right? Now, back on February 7th, Trump doubled down on Russian sanctions, all right? He's ready to double down on sanctions. Why? Because Putin isn't obeying what Trump thought that he was going to do. All right? He didn't obey. I mean, Trump thought that, hey, I'm going to put the message out there. I can get this peace deal done before my inauguration. It has not happened. It has not happened at all. And
I'd buy that for $1.
what the fuck? Elon Musk. Hey, Ghost, crack open a Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light and drink up. Cheers. Also, can you do your articles for an Indian hate section of the broadcast? No, shut up, all right? Just shut up. But as I was stating...
I'd buy
Are you
that
fucking...
for $1.
Come on, cut it out already, man. I would swing naked through the Amazon River with a stake wrapped around my genital. All right, look, everybody just calm down, please, all right? This is supposed to be a serious fucking show here. Anyway, Trump doubling down on sanctions because Putin isn't playing ball, and he's making Trump look bad. All right? And that's what that graphic is there. You know, Putin's making me look bad. That's why he's doubling down on sanctions. Now, the Kremlin to Trump, they're like, hey, man, be patient. All right? All right? We want to dictate the talks. You see, that's what fucking Russia wants to do. It wants to look optically that it's the one dictating and not being dictated to, so it can save face with its own population. All right? But I don't think Trump has patience on this because he sold that he was going to get this deal done, and it hasn't gone anywhere. All right? It hasn't gone anywhere. And if you take a look at the next Ghost report, Trump comes out and admits that he doesn't want to negotiate. Putin does not want to negotiate, and the reason is because what I've been telling you about Putin. He is pot committed on this invasion that he did. He's pot committed. At this point, if he comes with a deal and there's a peace process, I think he jeopardizes his own safety. I think that by him ending this war, it provides those that have been laying wait the opportunity to eliminate him and assume his command. So this way, he's always in a perpetual war state, which keeps everybody in a state of, well, as long as we can continue to survive the next day, it puts more of an importance on Putin being alive for him to maintain the continuity of the war and the war economy of Russia than it does right now to eliminate him and put Russia into a free fall, very destabilized situation. So it looks like Trump's knowing now that he doesn't have the amount of clout with Putin that he thought, even though he was his cockholster for so many years, all right? Now, Trump claimed that he has spoken to Putin. All right, now he claims here he's spoken to Putin. Here it is. Listen, where's the fucking volume? Here it is.
That's why I don't want to talk. Well, they can assume that. It makes sense. Well, I don't want to talk about it. And if we are talking, I don't want to tell you about the conversation. It's too early. But I do believe we're making progress. We want to stop the Ukraine-Russia war. And I want to stop it just because I hate to see all these young people being killed. The soldiers are being killed by the hundreds of thousands. We have to get that war ended.
Now, he alluded to a phone call with Putin in this little tidbit here. But if you take a look at today, all right, Russia came out and said, look, the U.S. and Russian relations are on the brink of collapse. And they refuse to confirm whether they've even talked to Trump. All right, complete contradiction on what Trump is alluding to in these comments about this subject matter. All right? So once again, Russia in a complete disconnect with what Trump is interpreting these negotiations or these so-called negotiations, completely misinterpreting them. All right, so we shall see. Remember, this guy ran on the fact that he was going to get this war ended. All right, it doesn't look good, at least from the Putin side. Now, when it comes to Ukraine, on the other hand, I mean, Zelensky, remember, we talked about on the last show that there was conditions that Trump wanted to continue aid to Ukraine, and that was taking some of their rare earths that are there as natural resources in Ukraine in order to offset the costs of maintaining Ukraine's security. And as you can see here on Ghost Report, Zelensky, let's make a deal. Look at this shit. I'm ready to deal. And he's open to a Trump mineral partnership. So you've got Zelensky showing that he's malleable. You know, he wants to make a deal. He doesn't want this to continue. The only person that's prohibiting this is Putin. And it's starting to make the optics look a little bit better for Ukraine in this situation than it is Putin. Because Putin, for whatever reason, doesn't want to negotiate. And I think, just like I mentioned earlier, he can't. He's pot committed, as far as I'm concerned. And look at this. Trump, because of this deal, all right, he's ready to meet with Zelensky next week in Washington. All right? So Trump's moving forward very fast. And this is another posturing by Trump because it kind of throws egg on the face of the bad PR that Russia is giving Trump at this point in time. I mean, Trump is just moving forward with this mineral deal, which I don't think is a bad deal. I mean, if we're going to be giving aid to Ukraine and they can give us rare earths that can offset what we are dependent on purchasing from other countries like China, I mean, I think it's a win-win situation. And of course, this infuriates Putin, the fact that we're not only engaging with Zelensky, making deals with Ukraine for long-term security. I mean, it kind of is well, at least in Putin's mind, it is a spit in the face by Trump. And that's why you have the Kremlin playing hardball over here. All right, Russia plays hardball on Ukraine peace discussions. All right, after so-called contact between Trump and Putin. So this is going to be a very complicated situation, even though it looks like Zelensky's ready to deal and Trump is ready to move on with these deals. So very interesting situation happening with the Ukraine and United States under Trump. And look, Zelensky even said, all right, which he has never said, by the way, that he would consider returning territories to Russia when Russia weakens. And what that means is that you got to start pulling back. All right, you got to start showing that you're genuine and you want to come to the peace negotiating table and that sort of thing. He's already put the signal out that he's willing to concede certain territories. All right, which has been a no-goer throughout this whole conflict. So at least Trump is looking good with Zelensky at this point, because Zelensky is saying shit that he would have never have said during the Biden administration. He would have never have suggested that he would return territories to Russia. Never.
I'd buy that for $1.
Hey, hold on. We got Froppy here again. What's up, Froppy? He says, wow, what a great deal. Here's millions of dollars in exchange for some fucking dirt. Well, a lot of those, I know what you mean. A lot of those rare earths, though, are things that we need for our chip making process. Because remember, I mean, and we're going to talk about China later. What makes the China-Taiwan conflict potentially dangerous is that Taiwan produces 80% of the world's chips in every electronic device. That's why Biden, with a bipartisan effort, passed the CHIPS Act in order to fast-track chip manufacturing in the United States of America. But the only way we're going to be able to manufacture chips is if we have the rare earths necessary to be able to produce them. So that's why we're making a deal, and that's why Trump knows that, hey, this is a good deal for him, a good deal for his optics, a good deal for America, good deal for the folks that are in tech. It's a win-win-win-win for him, in my view. That's why he's going down this direction. And this is why Zelensky, going back to Zelensky, he says that he's ready to return territories, which is something he has never said throughout this whole conflict. So interesting developments going on in Russia. Let's move on to China here. A lot of things going on in China. We've got China upset because of the Panama situation. For all those that don't know, Panama has quit the Belt Road Initiative that China has been aggressively pursuing internationally. It has left it, and China is pissed off about it. They're pretty upset about it. And look, this is another thing that I do kind of agree with, I mostly agree with, Trump's administration on, is cutting off China's influence in South America. Because right now, there is a massive amount of legit communism going on in South America. And hold on, we got Froppy again, who said, what rare earths Lay's need to be produced Lay's potato chips. I got it. It's sliced potatoes, for fuck's sake. I'm talking about computer chips. You know I'm fucking talking about it. But anyway, once again, China slamming the United States because Panama quit the Belt Road Initiative. All right. Another interesting story out of the February 7th edition of Ghost Report Daily. The Chinese journalist who reported the COVID-19 outbreak is dying in prison. All right. So if it wasn't for this Chinese journalist, we would have not have known that the origin of COVID-19 was in China. And, you know, a breath of fresh air. Now we have the Trump administration and the CIA now acknowledging that the COVID-19 was a lab leak out of China. So I'm glad that that is now the official narrative, even though we all knew that was the case. Even though we had an administration that was telling us, oh, Don't be hateful. You know, this fucking idiot mayor of mine in San Antonio, the fucking Nuremberg piece of shit, he actually passed an ordinance, all right, preventing people from saying China virus and shit and Wuhan. I'm not fucking kidding. And I'm glad he's out of here. Fuck you, Nuremberg, you fucking piece of shit. I hope your fucking political career is ruined. Fucking moron. But anyway, here's the Chinese journalist, Free Zhang, all right? Free Zhang. I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name, but...
I'd buy that for
And
a
what's going on to
dollar.
15 and a half inches of pure imagination, who said, we don't need foreign rare earth elements from either China or Ukraine. We have our own.
I'd buy that for a dollar.
Ah, fucking Kamala Harris. Yeah, fuck off, Kamala Harris, right? Fuck off! We have our own, but most of it is thorium in it, and thorium is breedable material that can be transmuted into fissile material and is off limits, which in and of itself is stupid because thorium is power. Just look up the molten salt reactors and see how thorium would make the U.S. energy independent and carbon neutral source of energy. But like you said there, 15 and a half inches of pure imagination, it is a weaponizable nuclear material. And if we do that, then the Russians and the fucking Chinese start producing it. And then, you know, that's at least on the optics value is what we're trying to not happen. But I think everybody's producing it anyway. But I get what you're saying. Cheers to 15 and a half inches of pure imagination, man. Cheers to you. And I hope you're having yourself a good Monday. And Kamala Harris, I'd order a Taylor Swift 3 boxes of breadsticks from Pizza Hut. Oh, God. Anyway, Devious Dave, shout out to West Coast Capitalist. Hope he finds himself a big woman to keep him warm for Valentine's Day. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Let's continue. All right. Once again, let's talk a little bit about China here. Now, China's upset about the Belt Road Initiative being abandoned by Panama. The Chinese journalist is dying in prison who broke the COVID-19 COVID-19 origin. And, China, at some point, may have had their tariffs paused. All right? Trump pauses tariffs on millions of low-value packages from China. So this was something that was a cause of concern for many people because, believe it or not, America likes that cheap Temu crap. Believe it or not, Temu is the loophole around the Trump tariffs even before Trump added more tariffs. That's why Temu is so popular amongst people that like to buy absolute garbage. So Trump paused the tariffs from China on low-value Temu crap to keep the masses entertained with trash garbage, all right, industrial runoff products from China. So that's great, isn't it? All right. This is why I'm saying I don't know if this guy's serious about tariffs. The market doesn't know whether he's serious about tariffs. I can tell you this. I don't think that our adversaries are really concerned about the tariffs. I mean, just look at what Trump did with Mexico and Canada, man. He had his hand on the chicken switch, for fuck's sake. I'm going to pause it for a month because they put fucking troops at the border. They always had troops at the border. Anyway, that's last, episode's news, all right? So once again, I mean, are the tariffs for real? All right, are the tariffs fucking for real when it comes to China? Now, because of the DeepSeek and the rise in the AI sphere and technosphere of China that has been unveiled here in the past month, now Xi Jinping has a big favorability rating amongst his people, which has taken long enough. And now he's touting some of this communist stuff in order to galvanize his people around whatever he's planning on doing. Did you hear about this? China's food security is a, quote, political responsibility for agricultural areas, Xi Jinping. Chinese leader calls for diversified food supply system. And why? Because we're the ones feeding China right now. All right? Hu Jintao, all right, which is the predecessor of Xi Jinping, came to the United States back in 2000, 2010, 2011, and made long-term deals with the agrarian folks in this country. And believe it or not, a lot of folks from that point on got very rich in farming because what China does, it pre-buys yields at a certain price, at a certain negotiated price. And because China buys vast quantities of yields, it's able to have leverage on bringing down the price because it's pre-buying the yield itself. And this is what has driven a lot of folks in the farming industry, to at least in the bigger farming industry, to make big bucks off China alone. All right? So this is why I'm saying, when I was talking about food prices going higher earlier in the broadcast, this is what I'm talking about. China recognizes that we've got them by the balls if we decide that we're going to send them less food. So Xi Jinping trying to use this as an opportunity to say, all right, we got to grow our own shit. All right? If we're going to take over Taiwan, if we're going to be independent superpower China, we got to grow our own shit. And I don't know if he's going to be able to. They're having a population problem. All right, they're having a lot of problems over there. Just take a look at this. Put the PC shot on. This is today's Ghost Report Daily. And take a look at this. No new marriages for China, all right, while divorces are on the rise. And take a look at those fat Chinese. Look at that. They got fat off our food, baby. All right? That's why Xi Jinping's like, we got to produce our own food, motherfucker. So they're having a population problem. So I don't know how they think that they're going to inspire people to go out in the fields and go make food again. It's kind of like what Trump is demanding from these fucking Gen Z and millennial tards, that are coming out and, the Mexicans are going to get ejected. They're the ones that are going to have to go out in the fields, for Christ's sake. So same situation in China. They're going to have to get all these folks that they educated with graduate level education, and they're going to force them back in the fields, which is why their population is somewhat demoralized. Oh, Jesus Christ, Kamala Harris! Taylor Swift could save money if she stopped using toilet paper and used my mouth. Oh, God! Look, enough of this crap, all right? All right, don't donate if you're going to be donating sick shit like that, man. Hey, we got Silverado, dude. Shout out to the West Coast capitalists cracking open a Bud Light on me. Cheers. Anyway, China having a population problem, all right? Now, with that being said, very interesting development. Even though you have Trump extending his hand in friendship to Xi Jinping has since snubbed Donald Trump's invitations, in my opinion, many times. Remember, he wanted Xi Jinping there at the inauguration. Didn't happen. He wants to meet Xi Jinping within his first 100 days of his administration. I don't know if that's going to happen. But yet, take a look at this. Xi Jinping accepts invitation to attend Moscow's Victory Day parade in May, which celebrates the victory over the Nazis in World War II. So, once again, China and Russia trying to show, at least optically, that they're still somewhat of a unit, even though both of their foreign policies contradict one another. They both have imperialistic ambitions, and they're both kind of stepping on each other's nuts in the region in that conquest. So, as I've always stated, even though these guys always get together every few times a year, it's pure optics. These guys are not helping each other. They have their own ambitions, and none of it has anything to do with either one of each other. So that's why this is a little bit of a optical move to show that, oh yeah, I'm more closer to Russia than I am the United States, and it's because of the tariffs that have been implemented by Trump on China. All right? And China hit us back with tariffs. All right, take a look at this. China counters tariff as Trump threatens that there's more to come. Now, the tariffs from China range from 10 to 15% and are applied to crude oil, liquefied natural gas, that's why we saw natural gas go up, farm machinery, and other selected products from the United States. All right, I think it's a pretty considerable tariff. And I didn't take a look at John Deere. I didn't take a look at Caterpillar or any of those stocks, but I'm sure that they were affected by this, in my opinion. So they're trying to counteract tit for tat when it comes to Trump's tariffs on China's tariffs. And a very interesting thing today, is Elon Musk a Chinese agent? All right, I mean, take a look at this. Is Elon Musk's China threat? The shadow president has deep ties to Chinese dictatorship, and it shows, and the rise of national security is unimaginable. Now, I know that many people are looking at this and are thinking that this is some kind of a sensational headline, but do y'all remember me, I think it was either 2 years ago or a year ago, in which I showed, and let me see if I can find that article here, where Elon Musk pledges, all right, to the socialist core values of China. And here it is right here. Put the PC shot on. This was July 7th, 2023. Elon Musk pledges to enhance core socialist values in China. And when you're pledging to do that in China, and you're over here claiming to be a transparent diplomatic agent over here in America, it doesn't really compute. All right, it doesn't compute. So things that make you go, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, apartment 0128 with a rumble rant, type J to rename West Coast Capitalist to Jamaican Coast Capitalist. Very, very funny. But once again, is Elon Musk a Chinese threat? He's got deep ties to China. It's the next market for him to dominate. All right, we're just a mere 350, 380 million people. All right, China's got over 1 billion people. All right, so that's a lot more people to control. So, of course, he's going to say and do whatever it takes to have any kind of an influence in the Chinese market. And that's why everybody is a little questionable about all the accessible data of the United States citizenry. All right, where's that data going? Many people have speculated that whatever he's doing, it's being sent to China. And if it's being sent to China, then that throws a whole other dynamic on the national security situation when it comes to Doge. Because then China knows everything about every American. And if they wanted to be bold enough to invade the United States, not only from the outside, but from within, because apparently, you know, part of Maga's down with China. I mean, look at that fruity-ass fucking Nick Fuentes. I mean, he sucked the goddamn Peter of Xi Jinping if he could. And this way, they could be able to suppress, they'd be able to monitor, they'd be able to know every single thing about the United States. Any threat, anybody who is of dissent, anything. So I don't know. I can't tell you if he's a Chinese agent, but I told you that, and just showed you that he pledged to China's core socialist values, which is why I think a lot of the things that are being done by this administration seems rather communistic, if not socialistic at the very least. Just as I mentioned earlier, this is a soft, great leap forward. All right? But as opposed to us going forward, we're going to go backward. Because, in my opinion, I don't think technology is going to progress outside of AI's influence. Okay? So, people in America are going to need jobs. Now, we don't have any more jobs anymore because AI's taken them out as far as cush jobs. You know, inside air conditioning, office jobs, work at home jobs. These are all being eliminated by AI, so people need to work. So what better way than to bring back manufacturing by forcing a decline in the economy and using patriotism as a means of putting people back into occupations that they never thought they would ever partake in because of the modern society that we once thought we had. And this is what's happening, in my opinion. This is centralized control of the economy. This is centralized control of the government. And this is what makes all this suspect. Even though, as I stated, all the things that are being exposed by Doge, all the fucking money that's going in the coffers of all kinds of people, even though that looks horrible and it's absolutely a crime and they should be prosecuted, I mean, what the hell are we allowing some guy who's not even an American citizen, not even a real American, under Trump's definition of birthright citizenship, Elon Musk would not be a citizen, and yet he is the top government employee, like I showed you on this day, where is it? Right here, that has 15 agencies under his direct control. And all the data from those agencies are going right into an AI system and being stored somewhere. And that aggregated data is going to be used to know everything about you, your most intimate details, your health, your financial status. I mean, this AI, with the aggregated data that Elon Musk has access to, is going to know more about you, your life, your future decisions than you do. And that's what makes this all fucking scary. All right, that's what makes this all scary. And look, Professor Dan said, my job is okay, I'm a teacher. Are you fucking kidding me? Why do you think the Dems were in front of the Department of Education? They're gonna dismantle the fucking Department of Education. Moron. Why do you think that you got the Republicans, at least here in Texas, we're destroying public education in Texas, and I'm loving it. That's something I'm for. You educators are fucking trash. And I bet you, Dan, you think you come home every day thinking you're a fucking hero when you're dumbing down our children. All right? You're going to fucking sit there, and I'm talking to some asshole in the YouTube chat who's patting his back. Hey, look at me, I'm a teacher. AI isn't going to take away my job. You're a fucking scumbag. All right? You're dumbing down our children. All right, if I was Trump, I'd have you rounded up and put in prison. What you done to our country. All right, I'm not fucking joking. If I was fucking Trump, I would round all you fucking educators into a fucking prison for the destruction you have done to our country. If you're a teacher, if you're an educator, fuck you. Get the fuck off my goddamn stream right now. Get out. Get the fuck out. You have done irreparable damage to our country. Look at these people that are out here wandering around. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have no idea who they are. They can't even balance their own fucking checkbook, for Christ's sake. And yet we pay more money per student to educate these brats. And where does it all go? It goes into the fucking educator's pocket. It goes into the administrator's pocket. Fuck you. All right? Fuck you fucking teachers. Fuck you educators. This is something that I 100% am behind when it comes to fucking Trump. Dismantle the fucking education system. Fuck them all. All right, I'm fucking 100% behind that shit.
I'd buy that for $1.
And what is this? Kamala Harris, I'd give you Taylor Swift, a Cleveland accordion. Ah, Jesus. You see, hey, whoever the hell's behind this Kamala Harris bullshit, all right, that person went to public education. All right, that asshole went to public education, and that's the product. And trolling the interwebs with a Rumble rant, you're right, Ghost. One thing I'm certain of this in Trump's administration, no one is going to prison. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think that he's going to try to put some Dems in prison because of what has been unearthed in this U.S. aid and other agencies. But we'll see. All right, we'll see. And Silverado, dude, shout out to Belligerent Brian. Dip your biscuits in some tea and... I'm not saying that. And Devious Dave, shout out to GhostPolitics for giving us movie night. Yeah, that was a good movie. That was an innocent movie, man. And CK Smith, Ghost, as you stated, AI is taking over, including voice AI.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, thanks, Musk. Yeah, no shit. And hey, what's going on to Chris? What's good, Ghost? Cheers to Chris, man. Good to see you, and I hope you have yourself a good Monday. I hope you had yourself a good Super Bowl weekend, man. Cheers, baby, cheers to Chris out there, man. All right, we through China. All right, let's go on to some more international news. Now, the EU is rebuking Trump for sanctioning the International Criminal Court because of their pursuance in prosecuting
I'd buy
Israel.
that for $1.
Oh, not Adolf Hitler. What, Adolf Hitler? First policy, if I was Fuhrer, I would put teachers into gas chambers, unleash the Interpol pot. I'd rather teach kids by giving them brain rot and make them iPad kids. Well, I mean, look, we're deporting the Mexicans. Put them out there so they can pick my goddamn fruit, so they can pick my fucking salad. Well, that didn't sound right, but you know what I'm saying, right? Anyway, once again, the EU is chastising Trump because he's sanctioning the International Criminal Court because the International Criminal Court wants to prosecute Israel, wants to prosecute Netanyahu for the Palestinian offensive. And, of course, Trump, being the most pro-Israel president we have ever seen in our lifetime, he is now pursuing sanctions against the International Criminal Court. Look, I'm not in agreement with why he's sanctioning the International Criminal Court, but I think the International Criminal Court is a bunch of shit. All right, I think it's a bunch of shit. It's a bunch of Euro cucks that have no business passing any kind of judgment on the United States. And I'm glad we're not a part of it. But UK Starmer, I can't believe this. After the whole Brexit movement in the UK, is Starmer actually making a fucking deal with the EU? Is he actually going to reset this shit? I hope not. But as I stated in the UK, ever since Theresa May, with her negotiating and, we got to do this, we got to fuck the EU. All right, the UK has its own waters, its own natural resources. I said this just right after Brexit, that they needed bilateral trade agreements. And nobody that was prime minister ever pursued that at all. I think the Indian that they had earlier before this guy tried, but to no avail. So it looks like Starmer may be getting ready to reset and potentially come back to the EU, for Christ's sake. And why go through this, you dumb limeys? Why go through the whole rigmarole and be like, oh, yes, Brexit, yeah, fucking European Union, and you're going to go back? Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. He's going to make a deal over here. Starmer's going to make a deal. Now, speaking of the EU, all right, there's, according to them, no negotiating on Greenland, which is another pursuance that Donald Trump wants to take over for, he says, security reasons, which I can agree with, national security reasons. But it doesn't look like the EU is going to get, going to just let Greenland go. So it's going to be a very interesting situation because Trump did say that he wanted to use military forces to potentially seize Greenland and the Panama Canal. So let's see if we're going to actually see some kind of confrontation and whether or not the EU is going to confront us about it. Now, that'd be very fucking interesting, to say the least. And Belligerent Brian, we didn't agree to that shit. Don't blame the UK as a whole. Most of us want that scum fucking prison. Well, Belligerent Brian, as much as I do agree with that, the problem is that the conservative faction politically in the UK is a joke. All right? That's why they lost. Because they were a fucking joke. All right, they're caught up in scandals. They couldn't do anything. I mean, that fucking Indian you guys had was that was the best conservative you could fucking find. Are you serious? No wonder Starmer came in here. You're glad that fucking idiot, that communist, that fucking Jeremy, what the fuck? You're like it wasn't him. Anyway, let's continue here. Once again, no negotiations on Greenland. Let's see what the fuck Trump has to say about that. Now, with that being said, with all the AI innovation going on in the world, there's an AI summit going on right now, I believe, in France. And the EU is completely irrelevant at this fucking summit. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, U.S. and China are dominating this AI convention, this AI event, this AI summit, and the EU is just there with its prick in its hand. Maybe, just maybe, I don't know, maybe y'all should stop getting together in Brussels and stroking each other with banter and useless rhetoric and formalities and all this other bullshit and start actually governing, you fucking idiots. I can't stand the EU. I don't know how the EU can continue to operate. I mean, we're criticizing bureaucracy here in the United States of America. Bureaucracy is gone wild over there in the EU. Nothing can get done without being approved by some board, then approved by some other board, then approved by Brussels. It's a disgrace. And that's why the UK got out. I don't know why they're going back in. But once again, they're just there with their pricks in their hand at the AI summit, looking irrelevant because they are, if you want my opinion. Now, with that being said, Canada is now looking towards stronger ties with the EU because of the tariffs that could be potentially asserted on Canada. Remember, they were paused. We were supposed to see them. They have been paused for a month. So now Canada is trying to look for other diplomatic homies out here in order to try to, get some traction against the United States of America. I think that's going to be a futile task for Canada. All right, I'm sorry. It's going to be a futile task. And what's going on to Duke Orville? Hey, Ghost, did you ever cover how the UK is going to give our base in Diego Garcia to Maritatis? No, I haven't read about that. Thank you for bringing it up, though. I haven't read about that, man. That's probably going to be on the next True Capitalist Radio. But cheers to Duke Orville with a $50 Rumble rant, man. Cheers to Duke Orville, not only for the $50, but all the free subs that you're giving to people in Rumble. Cheers, baby, cheers, man. All right, cheers to Duke Orville. But thank you. I'm gonna take a look at that, man. Cheers to you. But let's continue, man. Cheers to Duke Orville. Mass protests. All right, this past weekend, at least 200,000 protesters in Munich rallying against the far-right AFD ahead of the German election. Oh, jeez, this Kamala Harris again. I use the ooze from Taylor Swift's Coup to make brown gravy for my mashed potatoes. You see what the... public education, by the way. Public education, by the fucking way. But anyway, I'm sorry about my fucking stupid Shaq chair. All right, Shaq, I want my money back. Listen to this shit. Listen. Listen to this shit. Fucking Shaquille O'Neal.
Hey, buy my chair. It could hold up a motherfucker 7'5", 400-pound motherfucker like me.
Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm not 400 pounds, by the way. Anyway, 200,000 protesters rallying against the AFD. Now, as I stated, I think the AFD is going to be bad news if they're elected in Germany. Even though they're claiming they're far right, they're actually a pro-Russian leftist type of group. If you take a look at the leadership of the AFD, isn't it a couple of lesbos or transies or something? I'm not kidding. So I don't understand how the AFD is far right when they're pro-Russia. They're out of East Germany, and I think they're lesbos or something. I'm not kidding around. So I don't know what the hell's happening over there in Germany. The election is upon them, though. The election is upon them, so I think everybody out there should look towards Germany and see what happens in this election. It could change the trajectory of the EU, in my opinion, because if the AFD somehow takes power, then the EU could potentially lose a good part of its funding, because the only thing that's keeping the EU alive is Germany and France. And if Germany abandons ship, then that's it for the EU. And hence why you're seeing the dollar taking off on the euro. All right? So take a look and see what's going to happen when it comes to those elections. Now, the EU is actually mulling options on how to respond to the reciprocal tariffs that Trump is announcing. He's already announced today universal aluminum tariff and steel tariff at 25%. He's got more tariffs in mind, specifically towards the EU, and the EU is trying to figure out how the hell are they going to counteract this? How the hell are they going to counteract this? And in my opinion, they can't. They have to go and negotiate. I mean, I have to agree with Trump on this. The EU, they have an unbalanced trade deal with us. We have been supporting Europe ever since the Marshall Plan, and these fucking people are just pieces of trash. They have no appreciation. All right, they're degens. So I think Europe needs to have a wake-up call, in my opinion. But at the same time, who are our allies anymore? At least optically, who are our fucking allies at this point? So, man, I mean, it's a very chaotic situation, and I think everybody kind of recognizes that at this point in time. All right, let me go through a couple more stories, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here. I've already been on here for 2 hours and 9 minutes. I'm probably going to have a ghost show tomorrow. I don't know. I have to see if the people are okay with it, but we shall see. All right, a couple of things that I want to talk about here, and then I'm going to move on to totally useless news. All right, is some international stuff. All right, now, very interesting situation out of Thailand. The Thailandese prime minister is wooing the Chinese by claiming that she's got, quote, Chinese blood in her. And she recently visited Beijing, and according to Xi Jinping, he's open to strengthening ties amongst the chaos that's happening in the international community. So watch for Thailand. And the reason I say watch for Thailand, I have an article here that I think everybody should read. And I think it's a great read. It's on the latest edition of Ghost Report Daily. And it's Thailand, a master of soft power. All right? A pygmy hippos to our favorite pop stars, Thai culture is all around us. And what that means is even though they're not a big player on the world stage, they're still able to have somewhat of an impact on their own country economically through trade and other exports. I can tell you, I do like this one MMA Thai fighting organization out of there called One Championship. So, they have mastered being a soft power and not necessarily having any kind of bad diplomacy or any kind of conflict. So it's something to read for all the folks that are out there that are interested in Thailand. Soft power. Soft power. Now we're continuing with Asia here. Did you hear about this doomsday cult that is taking over the country of South Korea? How a fringe South Korean church convinced Fijians to embrace its business empire and ignore the dark side. Now, this is not uncommon because the previous president, before Yoon and his coup takeover, and now he's arrested, but the former president, believe it or not, was also arrested and is doing time in prison because she was actually taking her government orders from some cult of the tuna fish or some shit. And that's why she's in prison. Because she wasn't operating like a public service, or I should say public servant. She was operating by doing the bidding of a fucking cult. What the fuck are they doing over there in South fucking Korea? Can somebody explain that to me? And on top of South Korea, Hegseth has basically committed the United States that they are willing to denuclearize North Korea, and they stand by South Korea and Japan 100%. And of course, South Korea welcomes the denuclearization. And of course, right when South Korea was like, hey, we welcome the denuclearization of North Korea says, fuck you, motherfucker, and decides to boost its nuclear program. And, I told you the story on the last show. The whole reason why we're dealing with North Korea, Madeleine Albright, who's the Secretary of State, and Bill fucking Clinton. That's why. Look up the Joint Framework Agreement. That's what these fuckers want us to go back to. They want us to go back to the Joint Framework Agreement. And pretty much, I guarantee you, if Trump said, okay, we're going back to the Joint Framework Agreement, this fucking idiot will fucking start kissing her ass. And you want to know what the Joint Framework Agreement is? Is that we go out and fucking build this guy's electrical grid, build them water reactors and all kinds of bullshit so that he can stop his nuclear material manufacturing. What a fucking fat piece of shit. Anyway, let's continue here. There's some trouble in the Philippines. Believe it or not, Duterte's daughter, the former president of the Philippines, his daughter is now the vice president and is causing all kinds of a ruckus. Now she is being impeached. And look, there's Duterte's daughter, believe it or not. Oh, Jesus Christ. It looks like Duerte in drag. No plan to resign, though. All right, Vice President Sara Duterte after impeachment. So we're going to be a very interesting situation. What's going to happen between Marcos and fucking Duerte here? All right, let's see if Duarte still has clout. I know her dad had clout. Certainly don't know if she's got the clout. But once again, refusing to resign amid impeachment. Vice president, of course, over there in the Philippines. Let's continue on around that part of the world. Did you see that Indians out there in India got pissed at Trump because Trump sent a plane of immigrants that he deported from the United States back to India, and they came in shackles, disheveled, and fucking India thought they didn't like that shit. All right? So they burned him in effigy. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right? They burned him in effigy. Lawmakers and protesters were seen demonstrating outside the parliament. Oh, there he is.
तरीके से सरकारी संपत्ति को आपको
they're a little upset. Hold on, I'm turning this down. All right, they're a little upset that their Indians were set back in shackles on a 40-hour flight with no food, and the Indians are a little pissed off about it. Now, as you can see, I mean, they're not too crazy about what the hell happened. Anyway, with that being said, Modi, which is the prime minister of India.
Buy that for $1.
Jesus Christ, with this Kamala Harris! If Taylor Swift walked down a dirty Indian road barefoot, I'd clean her toe. Oh, God, dude, you're a sick fucking piece of shit, man. Whoever the hell you are, you're definitely publicly educated. You definitely partook in the public education system. I can tell you that right goddamn now. Anyway, before I get to Modi's news here, they're having a fucking Maoist problem in India. Did you hear about this? Indian security forces kill 31 Maoist rebels. Now, believe it or not, folks, communism has been a thorn in the side of India for a long period of time. And to see that there's still Maoists out there doing guerrilla fighting against the Indians is very interesting, to say the least. So once again, Indian forces kill 31 Maoist rebels in India. And continuing on Indian news, India's Prime Minister Modi is set to meet with Trump in order to have some kind of concessions when it comes to potential tariffs against India. So now you've got India ready to make a deal. So let's see if we're going to have any kind of sanctions, or tariffs, I should say. Let's see if we're going to have any kind of tariffs go Indians' way, since they're already coming to the table with concessions. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's see what happens, man. Look, I'm cautiously optimistic, but as I stated, this is a centrally planned economy, it looks like to me, and I don't like it. I'm a capitalist. I don't like this shit, but like, it's only 17 days. Let's see what happens. All right, let's see what happens. Let's continue here. Did y'all hear about this? This is amazing. The Australians have made a law that you can go to jail if you do a Sieg Heil, or that signal that Elon Musk did that I guess isn't a Nazi salute, but something that looks like that. If you do that, you go to jail in Australia. If you wave Nazi flags, you go to jail in Australia. This was just a law that was just enacted, and they're already arresting people for it. Take a look at this. 2 charged in Australia for displaying Nazi flags as laws toughen. All right? Believe it or not, Australia now has one of the most stiffest and strictest anti-Semitic laws in the world. If you do any kind of Nazi salute, if you have a Nazi flag, if you have Nazi regalia, you will absolutely go to jail, and don't collect $200. So let me tell you, Australia gets more and more into totalitarianism. It started back during COVID. Now it's getting even worse. So I'm glad that I ain't in Australia, for Christ's sake. And what's this? R.I.P. Dan the Oracle. Kitz does a flip with a Rumble rant. R.I.P. Dan the Oracle. And Devious Dave, we should drone strike Indian scam call centers. Well, yeah, no shit. Maybe you can give us some concessions on that. All right, let's go to some last remaining news here in the international community. Now, believe it or not, Pakistan is threatening to assert military action in Afghanistan because of ISIS and Tariqi Taliban attacks. And the Taliban is like, bring it on. Look at this shit. Taliban is like, bring it on. Now, unfortunately, folks, I don't think that they operate under the United States' tutelage anymore now that we have a new administration that is claiming to wanting to put bounties on the Taliban leadership's head. But still, their initiation of destabilizing the region is why we armed them to begin with. So they're doing it whether they want to or not. All right? Destabilization of the region. Why? Because Pakistan is a major investment into China, and we want to make sure that China loses all their fucking investment in the Belt Road Initiative, the Pakistan Chinese corridor, Gwadar Airport, all that shit. All that shit. Continuing on with Middle Eastern kind of news here, Trump has really pissed off people. Have you heard about this? This Gaza takeover in which Trump announced when he was standing in a press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu, he wants the United States to take control of Gaza and to own it. And that has stirred a massive shit show in the Middle East. All right? I mean, he wants to make Gaza, which is this fucking war zone dump, into the, quote, Riviera of the Middle East. And he has pissed off Arab leaders all over the fucking place. All right? So bad that you've got Egypt today, and this is off the latest Ghost Dot report, you've got Egypt calling for an emergency Arab summit. Because remember, Trump is suggesting that Egypt and Jordan take in the Palestinian refugees. And nobody wants to take in the Palestinian refugees. The last time they did that, which was in the fucking late 70s, the Palestinian refugees just started to become terrorists in those countries. I'm not joking. That's why they kicked them out. That's why all these Arab countries, they like to use Palestine as some kind of attempt at looking virtuous. But in actuality, they don't want to have anything to do with these people. All right? They don't want to have anything to do with these people. The last time they allowed a bunch of Palestinian refugees into their country, they decided to become terrorists in that country. All right? It's a fucked up situation. But Egypt doesn't want them. Jordan surely doesn't want them. That's why Egypt is calling on an emergency Arab summit amidst Trump, directing that, yeah, you're going to take in these Palestinian refugees. Fuck that. These people don't want that shit. And speaking of refugees and whatnot, let's talk a little bit about Israel. Okay, Israel is going to get, or at least the State Department of the United States has cleared $7.4 billion in Israeli Hellfire missile deals and other type of military armament deals, munitions, guidance kits, that sort of thing. So all you MAGA people that are anti-Semitic, I just don't understand. This is the most pro-Israel administration that we've ever seen in American history. Benjamin Netanyahu just recently said that. So once again, $7.4 billion, all right, in armaments going to Israel. And another thing, the hostage release that was happening during the ceasefire has since canceled. All right? Hamas cancels all hostages released until further notice. Now, the reason is because the Israelis didn't appreciate how the hostages came back. They came back gaunt. They came back now malnourished, tortured, and they didn't appreciate the conditions. As a matter of fact, here it is right here, some of the conditions of these hostages. So as a result, I don't know if y'all read about it today. I didn't want to go too detailed into this issue on Ghost Dot Report, but the reason that they canceled the hostage release is because Israel raided some bookstore in East Jerusalem, and that bookstore was supposed to be some Palestinian bookstore or some shit, and that's the reason why they have canceled this hostage release. A raid of a fucking bookstore. So here we go again. We always do this dance. It's never late, And did you hear about this? Speaking of terrorists, the U.S. aid funded Al-Qaeda commanders' education. Remember al-Awlaki? This was the guy that was killed by Obama in which it set the precedent for the president to be able to drone strike anybody at will. It was the first time the president authorized a drone strike. And the reason that this guy was, such a taboo issue in order to drone strike is because he was actually an American fucking citizen. Al-Awlaki was actually an American citizen. So when Obama ordered him to be assassinated via drone, it kind of set the precedent that the president can send in a drone and kill any American citizen. But aside from that footnote, we were funding this guy's fucking education on top of that. Now, didn't I always told you that Al-Qaeda and ISIS are our terrorist satellites? And now that you got Trump in office, he's going against ISIS. He's going against Al-Qaeda. He's going against the Taliban. He's going against the drug cartels, which are all terrorist satellites of the CIA. So it's going to be very interesting. I mean, Trump is doing a lot of shit to the government, a lot of shit to the intelligence community. I doubt that this is going to end well for either side. The last time somebody did something like this was JFK. And that's all I got to say about that. All right? That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, I think that's about it for the news. If you want to read in further detail, I implore people to please add your bookmarks and add your favorites, ghost.report. Okay? I give new aggregated links daily, all right, giving you the world on one web page in order for you to navigate and be able to keep abreast of what the fuck's going on. So once again, ghost.report. Type that in your browsers, add that to your bookmarks, add that to your favorites, ghost.report. Now it's time for some totally useless news. And that's always going to be on this bottom right-hand block, the furthest to the right down here in the corner. So let's take a look at some totally useless news here, all right? Now, this is a funny one here, all right? Erect man in a sauna claimed he was warming up his chicken. All right, can you believe? I'm not kidding. Man claimed, quote, he was warming up his chicken in the sauna after becoming aroused by the pool jets. And of course, it was a Chinese man in Europe somewhere. He's warming up his chicken. Is that does that work in China? Unbelievable. He's warming up his fucking chicken. Good God. All right, let's take a look at some more here. Did you hear about this here? Animal noises under a home uncover a naked man. Take a look at this shit. It's a video.
Weird news of the day. A family stunned after a naked man found living under their house. Assignment manager Mark Lew's at the desk with details. Mark, you can't make some of these up.
Jamie, the details here are just incredible. A 93-year-old woman with dementia living in this small home had been telling her family for months that she thought she was hearing an animal under her home. Turns out it was an adult man living under there. And last night, the LAPD SWAT team had to use gas to get him out. Now I want to show you some video. You're going to see here that man, they're describing him as a barricaded suspect being treated by LA City fire paramedics near the back of an ambulance on Locke Avenue in El Cerrito. Now, LAPD officers were called here after the family of a 90-year-old woman who lives in a home on the street complained of loud noises coming from under there, that crawl space. The family said she'd been complaining for months, but they all thought it was just an animal living under there. Well, last night around 9 o'clock, the noises became so loud, and at times the woman said they sounded like a human voice. So the family called LAPD. Officers showed up and found a man living under the home, and he was naked and he wouldn't come out of there. So the SWAT team was called. They ended up using gas to get him to finally exit the area under the home. He was taken into custody, sent to the hospital for treatment. And after the gas cleared, officers went under there and found food and blankets under the home. It was clear that man had been living under there for a while. Now, the 93-year-old woman had to wait for all of that gas to clear out of her home and wasn't able to get back in there until about 4 this morning. Now the family says they're going to board up that area under the house now.
This poor old lady was probably telling her family, I hear something under there. It's just an animal, Granny. Don't worry about it. I hear it. You're not understand. I hear it under there. I think they're talking under there. I hear it. I hear. All right, Granny. Unbelievable. All right, put the PC shot on. We're going to do a couple more. And Kirk Johnson, was she a pie-ass woman like your granny? Fuck you, all right? Did you hear about this? Monkey cuts power to an entire country. All right? Prime Minister blames monkey for Sri Lanka nationwide power outage. Unbelievable. A fucking monkey? What kind of third world shit is this? A fucking monkey cuts off power to an entire damn country. Jesus Christ. Can you believe this shit? Can you believe this? Another one here, which is very interesting. Wife jokes after husband loses his penis. All right? I lost my penis in an accident. There's something that my wife still gets a kick out of. All right? A man has opened up about his experiences after having a majority of his penis amputated following a motorcycle crash. And his fucking wife is like, hey, look at that. You're half the man you used to be. Fucking broads, man. All right? Fucking broads. Fucking laughing at his fucking penis. Oh, you lost your penis. Unfucking believable. And last but not least, man accused of shoving antiques up his ass. All right? I'm not joking around. Texas man accused of putting antiques up his kilt-covered ass. Some of the items the suspect allegedly contaminated include a makeup brush and antique bottle opener. Wait, he put a bottle opener up his ass? I mean, Jesus Christ, that must have been a very wide hole there. Good God. All right, I think I've got one more. All right, these are fun, dude. I sometimes when I'm searching for these, I can't believe that they're fucking real. All right? I'm not joking around. Every time when I'm searching for these fucking, I was like, are you fucking kidding me with this shit? I've got one more that I want to show here.
I'd buy that for $1.
What is this, Kamala? Jesus Christ, with this Kamala Harris crap. I'd read Gross Report daily if it meant I got to drink Taylor Swift's. I'm not going to say that, all right? Anyway, this one was from a couple of days previous. This was on the February 6th edition. And man delivers police a dog shit casserole. All right, and it's a video. Play this.
Fairport police tonight are sharing new details about a strange incident that happened recently in the village. Officers say Michael Lamb, a convicted felon with an extensive criminal history, came to the police station last week with a disturbing delivery.
Last week, we had an individual walk into the police department, I guess you'd say with some sort of casserole that was homemade. Inside the casserole was a number of different things to include dog feces, chicken nuggets, grapes, some sprinkles, had Brillo pad, as well as a live .223 round commonly used in an AR-15. He walked out, basically told us, make sure you eat this off duty, and laughed as he walked out.
Police say Lamb was also carrying drugs. Lamb is known to local law enforcement across the county for several incidents, most recently on Sunday when deputies say he stole from the Target in Henrietta and resisted arrest. In that case, he was arraigned and is being held in the Monroe County Jail without bail because he's a convicted felon.
I mean, can we deport this guy? I mean, I know Trump is talking about deporting even American citizens that are habitual criminals. Deport that guy to fucking El Salvador, for heaven's sake. All right? Good God. All right, one more. These are funny. All right, one more totally useless news, and I got to get out of here. A 13-year-old arrested for impersonating a doctor in a hospital. Can you believe this shit? Look at this. All right. Of course, in the UK, boy, 13, arrested at a hospital for impersonating a doctor after turning up wearing scrubs and a fake ID. Witnesses claim the youngster attended the hospital wearing scrubs and a fake ID, looking like a doctor. A 13-year-old? I mean, what the fuck was the purpose? You know, what, to gank fuck? Who knows? Who cares? All right. Anyway, folks, that concludes True Capitalist Radio. I just want to say cheers to everybody out here. I know that the True Capitalist Radio is starting to begin around 5-ish, Central Standard Time. Unfortunately, I have shit to do. I do a lot of shit. I have businesses. I believe it or not, I know people think that I'm some kind of an internet loser or something, which is not the case. So, I have I've got to do things a little later. And moreover, it's tax season. And tax season fucking sucks. And I hate fucking tax season. I hope that Trump does something about that shit, because I'm tired of it. All right? I'm absolutely tired of it. With that being said, I am going to be in the True Capitalist Radio member chat room. And by the way, we have added a new tier to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. All right? Because everybody's like, hey, it's a bad time. Everything's up in price and that sort of thing. So look, there is a $5 entry level that just gives you access to the chat room. You don't have there's not going to be a card mailed to you. People on these two tiers get monthly TCR trading cards, which many of them appreciate, and cheers to those folks that have gotten those. Cheers to you, man. But if you put the entry level, you will not get a card. You will just have access to the chat room. That is all. All right, that is all. And, of course, you'll be supporting the True Capitalist Radio show. All right. So, once again, buymeacoffee.com/GhostPolitics and consider joining the True Capitalist Radio membership chat room. I'm going to be in there here in about 15, 20 minutes. All right. I'm probably going to have a smoke or something and maybe crack open a beer and kick it with the folks in there. Once again, that's serious conversation. This is not, the troll show. This is not the ghost show. This is for True Capitalist Radio folks only. All right. So, everybody, FYI, if you just want access to the chat room only, no cards or any of the other perks, then consider joining the True Capitalist Radio chat room, all right? Anyway, folks, this was a pretty decent show, minus this fucking Kamala Harris, whoever the fuck that is. And Froppy brought up some good points, and cheers to Chris, and cheers to 15.5. Cheers to Duke Orville as well. And cheers for everybody out there who's listening to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. If you appreciate the broadcast, please consider supporting. I'm a man of the people. I don't have any sponsors. All right, I don't have any fucking monetization because I'm a dangerous guy or some shit. So consider, if you appreciate the content, consider going to buymeacoffee.com/GhostPolitics and either becoming a member or leaving me a message. All right? So anyway, until next time, I may or may not have a ghost show tomorrow or Wednesday. I don't know yet, but I am going to have a ghost show either tomorrow or Wednesday. So if you like that show, keep that on your agenda or let me know on my X account what day would be better for each and every one of you, all right? And by the way, if you don't know my X account, it's my social media of choice. It's one of the only products that I appreciate that Elon Musk owns. Put the PC shot on, The Ghost Report, all one word, no underscores. The Ghost Report is the name to follow on X or Twitter. And believe it or not, we're also broadcasted. I don't broadcast the Ghost Show here. I do broadcast True Capitalist Radio. And, of course, we got about 289 people viewing us there. Once again, we're broadcasted on multi-platforms. So if you're watching us there, you're watching us on Rumble, Kick, YouTube, DLive, Trovo, you name it. Odyssey. All right, cheers to all of you out there that are listening to the broadcast. I appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, True Capitalist Radio is the serious content. Of course, if you like internet tomfoolery and a little bit of internet mischief, I do a show at night called The Ghost Show, which is what most of these damn trolls like anyway. I don't know why. But anyway, folks, thank you all for tuning in with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't done so, let me once again reiterate, if you'd like to know what Ghost knows most of the time, consider going to ghost.report. All right? Consider going to ghost.report and adding that to your bookmarks and adding that to your favorites. All right? Because I think people need to keep themselves abreast of the news, and most people don't. I give you, once again, the world on one page. Look at that. Look at all these. All you got to do is click, and you know what the news is that day. And I aggregate the most important news necessary in order for one to be abreast on what the hell's going on. All right, so once again, ghost.report. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in with me. Once again, Ghost Show either tomorrow or Wednesday. Until next time, I'm going to go into the True Capitalist Radio chat room. I'm out of here. Woo!